What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 4 Light Years Chapter 76 Reincarnation Whispers, Crazy Mikami Yoda. 20, 19, 18, 20 seconds, as long as 20 centuries. The black air emanating from Chu Han's body slowly attacked in the direction of Yoda Mikami. Hurry up, he kept urging in his heart. As long as the black air touched Mikami Yoda, it meant the skill singing was over. At that time, the life of this Sakura devil will be over. 13. 12. Snapped, backfired. When he silently counted to about 10 seconds, the ice on Mikami Yoda's body suddenly cracked. Soon, the rift spread. In less than 2 seconds, he broke free from the control and broke free from the ice. Depend on. Single quote. Chu Han frowned. Sure enough, the level gap is too large, and the control time can't achieve the expected effect. He hastily terminated the skill. When singing, you cannot release other skills. If the opponent launches an attack, you may not have time to react. On the other side, Mikami Yoda, who was out of control, quickly distanced himself from Chu Han. You seem to have grown a lot. While he was speaking, he patted his body gracefully. The crushed ice wet his windbreaker. It was really annoying. Hey, Chu Han grinned. Don't rush to be surprised, the fun is yet to come. Don't be too proud, our battle will end soon. San Shangyang was too lazy to argue with him, and bowed his body slightly. Feng Mo, Ghost Shadow Walk. Whoosh. When the skill was activated, his body instantly turned into a stream of blue light and shot out. Chu Han looked solemn, and reacted the moment the opponent launched an attack. Samsara Whispers. Dictatorship Field. The 2 forbidden spells were released at the same time, and the 0-degree ice attacked again. However, this time, Chu Han froze. It's him. He had practiced this combo repeatedly when he was killing stone monsters, and it was completely usable. Freezing yourself for a moment and using reincarnation whispers will not be interrupted. Ding. -0 Mikami Yoda's fatal blow hit the ice shell without causing any damage. Skills cool down quickly. He looked at Chu Han with killing intent in his eyes, but, do you think it's absolutely safe to hide inside? Feng Mo. Sha Shen Luan. Yoda Mikami threw out a shuriken, which turned into thousands of shadows in an instant, and slashed at it clangingly. -0 -0 -0. Looking at the despondent little day, if Chu Han hadn't turned into an ice sculpture, he would have laughed so hard. Idiot. Hurry up and hand over the taboo magic stone to me, bastard. At this time, Mikami Yoda was so focused on getting back the forbidden magic stone, he didn't notice at all that a wisp of black air was slowly drifting towards him. Countless skills were thrown over, and he was panting tiredly, but the ice cube didn't move at all. The ice created by the dictatorship domain will disappear only after the controlled person gets rid of the control, otherwise it cannot be destroyed. And Chu Han has verified many times, this skill controls friendly targets and ignores toughness. In other words, if the skill panel is controlled for 30 seconds, then the time for being frozen must also be 30 seconds. Beigaya Road. Mikami Yoda, who has been unable to break through the ice, has almost fallen into madness, and no longer cares about elegance. If he couldn't get back the taboo magic stone, what awaited him would be a dead end. At that time, not only that ultimate pervert Kobayashi Jiro will trouble him. Even the president will never let himself go. After all, if the Holy Cherry Club wants to break through the Dragon Kingdom, it must obtain the power of Yamada no Orochi. And if you want to control Yamada no Orochi, someone has to change their job to a hidden job, on Myoji. The taboo magic stone can be said to be the key to start all plans. It is more important than your own life. Asshole, do you have to force me to take action? If I use all my strength, it will be very dangerous. Mikami Yoda had a ferocious face, bared his teeth, and revealed a wolf-like look in his eyes. Feng Mo. The great wolf roaring. A phantom of a giant wolf flashed by, and he turned his hands into claws, and suddenly rushed towards Chu Han. He almost turned into a werewolf, and wanted to smash the ice and the people together. Snapped, 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 crazy attacks came, but still to no avail. Although there were white marks on the ice that protected Chu Han, it never shattered. 3, 2, 1, die. With the end of Chu Han's silent countdown, the silent black mist penetrated into the enemy's body like the hand of death, and strangled his heart. Yoda Mikami, who finally sensed something was wrong, suddenly felt a sense of fear. That comes from the depths of the soul, the most primitive, the fear of death. Call out, a very soft voice. -999,999,999,999. The blood bar is instantly emptied. Plop. Mikami Yoda's body softened and he knelt on the ground. Well, I can only stop here, hateful. At the last moment when his life disappeared, what he saw was Chu Han walking out of the ice. He walked towards him slowly, with a smile on his face. That smile is brighter and warmer than the cherry blossoms in my hometown. Boom. With a frosty face, Chu Han kicked Mikami Yoda over with one kick, then stomped on his face hard and crushed him hard. This kick was stepped on by T Susu's parents. Afterwards, he dropped the unrecognizable corpse and walked out. Before reaching the door, he suddenly remembered something, and ran back, kicking Mikami Yoda hard in the face with a kwang kwang. After more than 100 kicks, Chu Han stopped, panting. These more than 100 feet were stepped on for the money to build my villa. After all, the house was destroyed because of him, and Chu Han felt that he should pay for the later repairs. Grass. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He mended a few more feet, and then he left the scene distressed. Outside the base, the fighting continued. In order to avenge his son, Zhou Shan gathered all the forces he could mobilize. Lu Rufeng felt more and more strenuous, and slowly, the Assassin's League had some downturns. Chu Han glanced casually, didn't linger long, and left directly. Zijin Society. The villa that was blown out of a hole stood there, under the moonlight, like a wounded beast. Before the broken wall, Shen Xingchen stood there, silent. Old Shen. Chu Han stepped over, his voice very soft. The other party came for me, that's why I got involved in the house. He didn't know how to explain it. This house was where Shen Xingchen's son lived, so it should be entrusted with something important. Being destroyed at this time, he should be very sad. Thinking of this, Chu Han's heart felt like a stone was pressed against it. People from the community security team came here just now, Shen Xingchen said with his back to Chu Han. They consider themselves dereliction of duty and are willing to bear half of the maintenance cost, but... Having said that, Shen Xingchen covered his head with both hands. The remaining half is a huge sum. I won't just go bankrupt like this. Depend on. Looking at the frantic old man, Chu Han's face was covered with black lines. There is no need to empathize with him. This old man is even more unreliable than himself, not even in the slightest. But 1 yard counts for 1 yard. Chu Han still stepped forward and said, well, I'll pay the rest of the cost. After all, it's because of me that this kind of thing happened. Shen Xingchen regained his composure in an instant, and looked at Chu Han with a smile. You can teach a child. Chu Han rolled his eyes and didn't bother to pay attention. Afterwards, Shen Xingchen stood with his hands behind his back, sighed slightly. Did you go after someone just now? Did you catch up? Yeah. Chu Han nodded and didn't say much. That's good. Shen Xingchen didn't ask any further questions, and then said lightly, you can go to sleep with me tonight. Susu seems to like you very much, and doesn't reject you. Okay. Chu Han didn't refuse, turned around and walked away. After walking a few steps, he stopped and turned his head suddenly. I saw Shen Xingchen with his back to him, standing silently in the moonlight. For the first time, Chu Han saw Shen Shenchi in this old man. Chapter 77. Then do you know how scary I am? Cherry Blossom Country. Holy Cherry Club headquarters. There are many bookshelves in the room, and in the middle is a huge conference table. From the layout point of view, here is very classical. It's just that the female waiters shuttled back and forth, all wearing revealing bunny girl suits, which seemed a little out of line. Sitting around the table are all old men with gray beards. Only Kobayashi Jiro has a young face. I said earlier that Mikamiya is too heavy to bear the heavy responsibility. Judging by his neither male nor female appearance, he is only suitable to go to my kabukicho to accompany guests to drink. The one who spoke was one of the elders of the Holy Cherry Society. He stepped on the chair with one leg, and under the wrinkled suit, his powerful muscles were faintly revealed. Even the bunny girl standing behind him was attracted by that figure, wishing to pounce on him and feel the explosive power of this old man. The room fell silent. Kobayashi Jiro glanced at the president at the end of the long table, and said lazily, why don't I go to Longuo myself? Everyone looked at the president, only he can make a decision on this matter. Kobayashi Jiro, the most dazzling genius in Sakura country in recent years, is the only rookie in the Holy Sakura Club who is qualified to sit with the elders. Of course, this genius boy never took these old guys seriously. Only the president can restrain him. No need. The president said slowly, your task is to subdue Yamada no Orochi. I will send another person to the dragon country. Yamada no Orochi likes to eat young people by nature, and will only submit to young people. And Kobayashi Jiro is very talented. He has successfully changed jobs at the age of 12, and now he has reached rank 9 at the age of 16. It is most suitable for him to subdue Yamada no Orochi. It's just that he now needs the forbidden magic stone to turn into an onmyoji profession. In addition, to wake up Yamada no Orochi, you need to feed 100 boys and girls. Therefore, bringing back the taboo magic stone and 100 young professionals from the Dragon Kingdom. It is the highest task of the Holy Cherry Club right now. The eastern suburbs of Shanghai City. Chu Han navigated all the way according to the coordinates, and then came to a dead end. Please go straight ahead. Still going straight? Chu Han looked at the lake in front of him, cursed, and turned off the navigation. Yesterday, he searched the internet for a long time, and finally found out. The designer who built the Zijin Club back then was a rank 5 builder, Shui Ning. So Chu Han decided to come to this person. It is estimated that only he can restore the destroyed villa to the greatest extent. It's right here. Chu Han opened the chat box, looked at the coordinates that Shui Ning had sent him, and checked repeatedly. He went to the right place, but there was only a wild lake here, and there was no one in sight. Boom! Just when Chu Han was wondering, the surface of the water burst suddenly, and a huge splash exploded. Immediately afterwards, a group of people ran out hastily from inside, and returned to the shore in a state of embarrassment. F*K. I'm going to die. Where is the priest? Add blood to me. A middle-aged man was lying on the ground and howling.
Mr. Shui, you still have half a tube of blood. The pastor came over and filled up the blood for him with a speechless expression. Shui Ning calmed down when his status returned to full. He stood up, wiped off the water on his body, and then coughed a few times. I'm a lifestyle professional, and I'm not familiar with combat, it's normal. Who dares to laugh at me? Believe it or not, I fired you. Do you still want to work in my construction team? Seeing the boss go crazy, a group of people immediately lowered their heads with suppressed laughter, for fear of losing the job. Chu Han looked this person up and down, and then walked over. You are Shui Ning.
Who? Shui Ning turned his head abruptly, with a look of vigilance, thinking it was a monster in the water chasing him out. It's me, I contacted you this morning, Chu Han. Chu Han hastily reported his identity. It looked like it was one step too late, and Shui Ning was about to make a move. I don't know what attack method the architect has, stabbing with steel bars or covering his face with cement. Chu Han? Shui Ning frowned and thought, and it took him a long time to remember this. Oh, yes. Why are you looking for me? Chu Han got straight to the point. You designed the Zijin Society, right? Now there's a villa inside that has been damaged. I want to ask you to repair it. You can make a price. Shui Ning was very impatient, spread his fingers and pointed at himself, then pointed at the lake. Do you think I look like someone who has this kind of leisure time? I have millions of dollars every minute. Let me build a broken villa. Just kidding, it's almost as good as asking me to build a border military base. Go away, don't get in my way. After finishing speaking, he left Chu Han behind and shouted at his subordinates. Hurry up and get back to the state, take drugs. Go down one more time, I don't believe I can't kill this rotten fish. Hearing this, the subordinates are all lifeless. Mr. Shui, we are really no match for that guy, why don't we hire someone to kill him? Fart, Shui Ning yelled, you don't need money to hire people, do you know how to save costs? Then the F*King City Defense Team raised the price of killing monsters to 50 million. Just because I'm rich, they cheated on me? Is it my fault for being rich? Seeing the boss venting his emotions here, a group of employees looked at each other helplessly. Their construction team recently took on a job to develop this clear water lake and build a water park.
But who knew, there was a level 360 boss hidden in the bottom of the water, the spiritual mirror Pisces. This guy is a randomly spawned boss, it was here 3 years ago. However, because this is a suburban area with few people, the boss only moves within the range of the lake, and almost no one has been hurt. Therefore, the Deep Sea City Defense Team ignored it. It wasn't until Shui Ning and the others came here that they realized that this guy was still alive. The spirit mirror Pisces has a strong sense of territory. As long as it gets close to the lake, it will be attacked by it, and there is no way to start work. Later, Shui Ning went to the city defense team to eliminate the monster, and the other party wanted to charge 50 million yuan, so Shui Ning turned around and left.
In order to save money, he recruited all the combat professionals under his command, and wanted to kill the boss himself. The result is exactly what Chu Han saw when he came here. Standing by the side and listening, Chu Han also got a general idea. He stepped forward and said to Shui Ning, Boss Shui, how about making a deal? You kill the boss for you, and you repair the villa for me, how about it? You? Go, don't make trouble. Shui Ning curled his lips, looked at Chu Han's young face, and pushed away impatiently. The people he brought were all rank 4 professionals, and together they couldn't handle the spirit mirror Pisces. A young man like Chu Han should have just changed jobs not long ago. If the boss hits him, he probably doesn't even need to use the second skill. What's wrong with letting me try? Chu Han was not forgiving. I don't charge money for killing monsters, but I'll give you back the money when you build a villa. Why not do a business that makes money without losing money? I'm afraid you will become fish food. Do you know how scary that boss is? Shui Ning's face was distorted, and he grinned, as if imitating the boss's expression, trying to scare Chu Han away. Horrible. Chu Han smiled lightly, then do you know how scary I am? Chapter 78. Use skills to win by quantity. Okay, you are the scariest, go if you like. Shui Ning was already overwhelmed by this mess, and now he didn't want to talk nonsense with Chu Han anymore. That's a deal. Seeing his promise, Chu Han jumped into the lake. Wind Spirit Wings. As soon as he entered the water, Chu Han immediately activated the forbidden spell of the wind system and arranged the injury-free buff. It's dark and quiet underwater. Chu Han looked around. Randomly refreshed bosses are different from ordinary dungeons. There are no mobs in the area where they are located, so the bottom of the lake looks very empty. Spirit Mirror Pisces? Will there be 2 bosses? Gurgling. While Chu Han was thinking, there was movement beside him. He hurriedly turned his head to look, and saw a white strange fish floating in the water. Its surface was covered with a layer of mysterious power, emitting a mysterious light outward. Name: Spirit Mirror Pisces, Dominator level boss. Attribute: Monster. Open black lens bracket level. LV.360 close black lens bracket, health volume. 6200W, 6200W. Open black lens bracket physique. 18,521 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket power. 18,727 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket wisdom. 21,245 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket agility. 27,234 close black lens bracket, spirit. 25,672, combat power value. 132,511. Skills: Rain of Arrows in the Water Forest, Frenzied Waterfall, Shi Yidao, Dragon Transformation. Appeared. Chu Han reacted quickly. The moment he saw the boss, he shot immediately. Bihai Chaosheng. Swish. Dozens of water waves spread at the bottom of the water, and the bottom of the water seemed to be set off by huge waves.
Minus 86,329. Minus 86,329. The spiritual mirror Pisces moved extremely fast underwater, avoiding most of the damage, but was still hit by a few water waves. However, the damage is ridiculously low, and the imprisonment effect was not triggered. Damn, is it another high magic immunity? Chu Han had a headache. Although Bai Hai Chaosheng's damage is indeed not as good as other forbidden spells, but it's a bit nonsense to only hit more than 80,000. From this point of view, Pisces in the spirit realm is at least 90% immune to magic damage. You can only use Nirvana. Seeing the situation like this, Chu Han was going to use the reincarnation whisper again and send this guy away directly.
Dictatorship field. The ice world unfolded, instantly freezing the bottom of the water. Reincarnation. Just when he was about to start singing, Chu Han suddenly discovered that the spirit mirror Pisces was not frozen, but was still swimming there, smashing all the ice cubes into pieces. So difficult. Water type and ice type forbidden spells can't control it, and the damage is ridiculously low. No wonder those guys on the shore are in such a mess.
Roar. A loud noise pierced through the bottom of the water, and the spirit mirror Pisces made a roar like a dragon's chant.
Chu Han looked up. I saw the spirit mirror Pisces swooping down from above. The lake water around it condensed and turned into a phantom of a giant dragon. This skill seemed to be quite powerful, but Chu Han didn't dare to resist, so he spread his elf wings and hid to the side. Boom, bang. Although his movement under the water was damaged, Chu Han narrowly escaped and was not injured. And at this time, it also saw clearly that the other half of the mirror Pisces was actually blood red. Half white and half red, it looked so weird. The next moment, the red body shone with a strange light, and the boss continued to attack.
A cold light flickered in Chu Han's hands, and he was also ready to fight back.
Since you can't control the other party, then use the method of killing Yoda Mikami to freeze yourself, and then send it to heaven with whispers of reincarnation. Swish. At this moment, the skills of Pisces in the spirit realm attacked first. More than a dozen water waves spread out, and Chu Han was shocked. Is this my own Bai Hai Chaosheng? This guy can absorb his own skills and throw them back? Shocked, Chu Han also released the same forbidden curse of the water system, so as not to be controlled by the other party's water waves. Damn, if that's the case, Whisper of Reincarnation won't work anymore? He couldn't help hesitating. Obviously, the spirit mirror Pisces absorbs skills on the white side and releases them on the red side.
In case the Whisper of Reincarnation can't kill it, or can only kill one side of it, it will be troublesome. After all, it's called Pisces, maybe it will have two lives. At that time, the red side will return the skills, and it will be over. Although he had 20 seconds to escape, he didn't want to take the risk. Chu Han himself knows how terrifying the Samsara Whispers is. If anything happens, his life will be gone. Oh shit. Single quote. Chu Han couldn't help cursing inwardly. I thought it could be solved easily, but I didn't expect to encounter such a big trouble.
Old Shen, I worked so hard to repair your house. Come. Chu Han felt ruthless and rushed forward. Nirvana Thunder, Purgatory Natural Disaster. Haunting Dance. Countless skills were released in turn, directly turning the bottom of the water upside down. You like to absorb skills, don't you? I want you to absorb all your skills. Come on, suck me hard. Boom. Boom. This was Chu Han's last resort. Although the damage to the boss is low, as long as the number of skills is enough, it will be able to grind it to death sooner or later. Putting on skills is to win by quantity. At the same time, above the lake, Shui Ning, that group of people, stood on the shore, looking dumbfounded. I saw that the bottom of the water was like an eruption of doomsday, with thunder and fire, a scene of hell. Immediately afterwards, a berserk tornado appeared, which rolled up a mixture of water and ice, and shot straight into the sky. What's going on down here? Is there a fire in the water? And there's a strong wind. I remember that the skills of the boss are not so strong. Shui, Mr. Shui, what should we do? A fourth-rank professional was sweating profusely and asked dryly. And Shui Ning was not much better, he was stunned. He is a lifestyle professional, where has he seen such a battle scene? Opening his mouth, he said hesitantly, that kid. Will he die down there? Shall we help him? When the subordinates heard it, they shook their heads like a group of rattles. Mr. Shui, this kind of powerful skill, you say, if we touch it, can we still survive?
Gudong. Shui Ning swallowed. Silence is the best answer.
Underwater. The wind and thunder howled, and the flames filled the air. Chu Han didn't care where the boss was, anyway, his skills could cover the entire bottom of the lake. Moreover, his damage avoidance and blood recovery can directly ignore the opponent's rebound damage. Boom. Boom. Chu Han acted like crazy, releasing his skills without restraint. After more than 10 minutes, when Chu Han threw out hundreds of forbidden spells. Finally, you killed the Spirit Mirror Pisces, master-level boss, and gained 700,000 experience points. Close black lens bracket. Hoochie. Hoochie. Seeing the system prompt, Chu Han stopped, feeling sore all over his body, as if being hollowed out. There was a flash of light at the bottom of the lake, and he swam over quickly without taking a break. There are not many things dropped by the boss, but the quality is good. Chu Han picked them up one by one. Open black lens bracket Pisces Jade Pendant, spiritual weapon, close black lens bracket. Occupation type. Unlimited. Open black lens bracket level. LV.320 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket durability. 30,000 30,000 close black lens bracket. Physique plus 1700. Open black lens bracket wisdom plus 2100 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket spirit plus 2000 close black lens bracket. Equipment effect. Immune to 20% magic damage, and reflect 20% of the enemy's skill damage to the releaser. Close black lens bracket. Introduction. With the way of the other, return it to the other. Close black lens bracket. Looks pretty good, but doesn't do much for me. Chu Han was a little disappointed, and put it in his backpack. This kind of thing can only be thrown in the auction house. Looking further, there are 2 red spiritual weapons, but neither of them are used by mages. In addition to these, there is a skill book at the end. Chu Han picked it up, looked at the staff logo on the cover, and burst into tears. It's been a long time since he broke out a mage skill book from fighting monsters. It really didn't come in vain. He quickly checked the skill book information. Guardian Soul Seal. LV.300, 6th level skill, occupational restriction. Mage.
After reading it, Chu Han was overjoyed. 6th order shield skills. Chapter 79. Beast Egg Hatch, Demon Flame Thunderwing Horse. Shui Ning was a little nervous. He looked at the boy who came out of the water, and he was more panicked than when he was chased by the boss. You are not dead. Thinking of the destructive disaster that erupted underwater just now, Chu Han was able to come out alive. This is a miracle. I won't even die if you die. Chu Han took off his coat and wrung the water off it.
Whenever you are free, hurry up and repair the villa for me. Shui Ning was even more surprised. So, you killed the boss? If you don't believe me, go down and see for yourself. Chu Han frowned. This guy is really grumpy. Hearing this, Shui Ning was dubious, and led a few of his men to walk to the edge of the lake step by step. They carefully looked around, their bodies stretched back, ready to flee immediately if they were in danger.
However, all they saw was a calm lake. Mr. Shui, it seems that he is really gone. One of the subordinates said. Don't talk nonsense. Shui Ning glared at him. Maybe the boss is hiding in the dark. Let's not get too close, otherwise it will be dangerous. Boom. When Chu Han heard this, he flew up and kicked Shui Ning's ass, kicking him into the lake. Ah, help. I'm dying. Help me. Seeing him begging for help in a panic, Chu Han said lightly, how is it? Is there any danger?
Ah. Hearing Chu Han's voice, Shui Ning temporarily calmed down. He floated on the water and wiped his face. It seems. Really gone? Hurry up, pull me up. Calling his subordinates to pull him ashore, Shui Ning calmed his beating heart. Okay, Chu Han, right? You're awesome, you won. I'll take people to the Zijin Club tomorrow morning. Wait for you. Putting his coat on his shoulders, Chu Han walked away. After changing his clothes, he came to the Shanghai City Exchange. Just after a big battle, the backpack is full. After being tired, it is also a kind of enjoyment to go to the exchange lady to sell a product. Passing through the crowd, Chu Han walked into the exchange and looked around. Mr. Chu, welcome. Long time no see. Miss Hazy was not found, but another familiar figure appeared. Seeing this person, Chu Han's eyes darkened, and the corners of his mouth twitched continuously.
Wei Suonen. Why the FK are you here? Wei Suonen's eyes lit up. It's so kind. This is how people from Zhongling greet each other. Afterwards, he pulled Chu Han to his office, closed the door and poured tea. That's right, Mr. Chu. After sitting down, Wei Suonen began to explain. Since you killed the Dark Heavenly Dragon last time, our Zhongling city can be said to be on fire. The city government, bombing, has attracted many companies to settle in and develop countless new projects. Even our exchange has been promoted to heaven and started to cooperate with major first-tier cities. So, I was transferred here and became the manager of the Shanghai City Exchange. It's all thanks to you. Zhongling City has undergone tremendous changes.
Thanks to me? Chu Han pulled his face. Is there any benefit for me? Ahem. Wei Suanan choked. Pay attention to the pattern, Mr. Chu. You have left Zhongling and flew to a wider sky, where you can soar. Do you still like these 3 melons and dates in Zhongling City? He. Chu Han had nothing to say, and rolled his eyes violently. All right, stop nagging. You are here, I will give you the equipment and sell it for me. After all, he gave Wei Suanan the few pieces of equipment dropped by the spirit mirror Pisces, together with the spoils from the previous plague farm. Leave it to me, don't worry. Wei Suanan accepted the equipment and couldn't help admiring. Mr. Chu, you are still the same as before, surprising people everywhere. Even a level 320 spirit weapon. Tisk tisk tisk. Okay, let's sell slowly, I'm leaving. Chu Han was in a bad mood when he didn't see Miss He. And Wei Suanan stopped him again, and handed over a gold card. Mr. Chu, this is the membership card of Shanghai City Exchange. 1-star members still get 5% off. Chu Han took it, curled his lips. Old Wei, you are the same as before. Still so picky. After accepting the card, Chu Han left Wei Suanan, who was giggling silly, and left the exchange.
Beep beep beep. As soon as he walked out of the gate, the system prompt came. Chu Han opened the panel and found that it was Yang Shui from the Beast Trading Center. Yang Shui. Hello, Mr. Chu. The pet egg you deposited has hatched successfully. Please come and claim the pet in time. Close black lens bracket.
Chu Han. Okay. Close black lens bracket. Surprisingly, the beast eggs hatched so quickly. Sure enough, professional things should be handed over to professional people. Thinking that he would soon have a pet, Chu Han hurried to the pet animal trading center. Thinking of the young woman Yang Shui's various amorous feelings, his speed became even faster. In less than 5 minutes, Chu Han arrived at his destination. Mr. Chu, please follow me. The pink loli was still enthusiastic, and she greeted Chu Han as soon as he entered the door. Climbing up to the 2nd floor again, Chu Han saw Yang Shui at a glance. Then, his eyes locked on the bulging, soft, little black horse on Yang Shui's chest. Yang Shui came with the little black horse in her arms and handed it to Chu Han. This is your beast, the demon flame thunderwing horse. I said at the beginning that this pet egg was corroded by dark forces. I don't think you cared too much about it. You just fed him more dark feed to make his dark power more pure. So, the original cold jade lion mane horse has mutated into this. Chu Han took the pony and gently hugged it in his arms. I saw that it was completely black, without variegated colors, and it was only as big as a puppy. It looks cute, but in its eyes, there is something that doesn't match the cuteness. Ferocity. Name. Demon Flame Thunderwing Horse. Open black lens bracket. Nickname. None close black lens bracket. Rank. Divine Beast. Master. The contract has not been signed yet.
Open black lens bracket level. LV.0 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket physique. 5 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket power. 5 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket wisdom. 5 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket agility. 5 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket spirit. 5 close black lens bracket. Skill. None. Chu Han pointed at the little pony, looked up at Yang Shui, and said doubtfully. Isn't it called the Demon Flame Thunder Wing Horse? What about the wings? Yang Shui smiled, showing a row of white teeth. Your pet is still in its infancy and needs to be upgraded. Maybe, when the level reaches a certain level, the wings will grow. Chu Han looked forward to it. Okay, I'll take it to upgrade now.
As long as it grows up, you can ride it. No man can resist Pegasus with wings. Chu Han couldn't wait any longer. Hey, Mr. Chu. Yang Shui hurriedly stopped him. To upgrade with a pet, you have to sign a contract first, and you haven't paid the final payment yet, and the incubation fee is 200,000. Okay. Chu Han put away his excitement, and followed the pink loli to pay the money. Immediately, under Yang Shui's guidance, he began to try to sign a contract with the little black horse. The contract ceremony is very simple. As long as the professional feeds a drop of his own blood to the beast, he can become its master. Chu Han pricked his fingertips with a silver needle, and slowly squeezed out a drop of blood, which dripped into the little black horse's mouth. A group of people gathered around, all looking very nervous. Goo, goo. The little black horse had the drop of blood in its mouth and seemed about to swallow it. Everyone was looking forward to it. There was also light in Chu Han's eyes. However, the next moment, the little black horse looked up. Puff. A mouthful of saliva, with that drop of blood. Spit directly on Chu Han's face. Chapter 80. Get down and let me ride for a while. Kill it. I invite you to eat horse meat, braised or stewed. Chu Han pressed the little black horse to the ground with a ferocious face, his murderous aura was soaring. And the little black horse's eyes were full of sarcasm, which made Chu Han even more angry.
Yang Shui hurriedly stopped her. Mr. Chu, calm down. It cost 300,000 yuan, and it would be too bad to eat just a meal of horse meat. Besides, it might cause diarrhea. It seems to make sense. Thinking of the money he spent, Chu Han's anger subsided for the most part. Then what should I do? This guy won't sign a contract with me. Yang Shui also had some headaches. I said earlier that the dark power will make it difficult to tame. In this situation, we have no better way. Perhaps, you can take it to the wild to fight monsters together, try to build a relationship, maybe it will work. It's just that you have to be careful when you kill monsters, it's not your pet yet, skills will hurt it as well.
Don't be careful, you deserve to be killed. Chu Han waved his big hand, picked up the little black horse and walked out. Dungeon. Slaughter Forest, recommended level, LV.270 LV.300. Randomly found a wild dungeon, Chu Han fell into it, threw the little black horse to the ground, and stepped on it to prevent it from escaping. You won't sign a contract with me, will you? Show me. Chu Han's tone was extremely fierce. Then, as soon as he raised his hand, he directly threw out a thunderbolt of nirvana. Not far away, there is a level 280 fur monster. Originally, it was still thinking about what to eat at noon today, humming a little song and rubbing against the tree, when suddenly it was hit by a violent lightning above its head, and it instantly ascended to heaven. The forbidden spell only used 20% of its power, so as not to accidentally injure the dark horse. Chu Han lowered his head and roared proudly. How about it, are you convinced? The little black horse kicked around, obviously dissatisfied, and bit the tip of Chu Han's shoe. Hiss! Chu Han's toes hurt from being bitten. Under the anger, the natural disaster of Purgatory burst out. Boom! The fire element raged in all directions, bringing out an extremely violent momentum. With Chu Han at the center, the forbidden fire spell swept away, and the sky-burning flames spread rapidly, causing devastating damage. The massacre forest was instantly razed to the ground. Seeing this situation, the little black horse was so frightened that it panicked, its eyes nearly popped out. It let go of its mouth, and shrank its whole body to the soles of Chu Han's shoes, for fear of being touched by the fire element. After a long time, the flame subsided. Chu Han let go of the soles of his feet and squatted in front of the little black horse. Seeing it trembling, Chu Han grinned. My own goal has been achieved. Stand up. The little black horse trembled, immediately got up from the ground, and stood up obediently. Chu Han continued to ask, how about it, sign or not? The little black horse nodded repeatedly, his eyes were clear and simple. After getting the answer, Chu Han stretched out his finger, do it yourself. The little black horse opened its mouth and bit its finger, cut a gash very gently, and swallowed a drop of blood. After it was done, it carefully licked Chu Han's wounds, as much as he could be sensible. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations on successfully signing the contract with the Magic Flame Thunderwing Horse, close black lens bracket. Do you want to name a nickname, close black lens bracket? Yes, it's called the Rebellious Little Black Horse. Sorry, the number of characters in the nickname is too long, the naming failed, close black lens bracket. Forget it, let's call him Xiao He. Chu Han didn't bother to think of a name, so he just came up with one. Xiao He naturally didn't dare to have an opinion, so he readily accepted it. Go, I'll take you to level up. Chu Han showed a kind smile, and led Xiao He forward. The slaughter forest has been flattened, so we can only change the map. Not far from the next door is the Wailing Cavern where level 450 monsters haunt. It's nice here. Chu Han stood at the entrance of the cave, holding Xiao He in his arms, and with a wave of his hand, the burning flame burst out. Boom! With a simple fire spell, there was no longer any life in the cave. You killed the dark monster bat and gained 10,000 experience points. Close black lens bracket. You killed the big rock snake and gained 12,000 experience points. Close black lens bracket. The pet beast, Xiao He, has been upgraded, the current level is LV.1. The pet beast, Xiao He, has been upgraded, current level is LV.2. The pet beast, Xiao He, has been upgraded, the current level is LV.52. A series of system prompts came, and Xiao He, who took away half of his experience, was directly promoted to level 52. As the level increases, Xiao He's body shape also changes. It used to be the size of a teddy, but now it has become a German shepherd. Moreover, there are faint black flames beating on the surface of the mane, which looks quite cool. It seems that it won't be long before I can ride on it myself. Chu Han was looking forward to it. Let's go to the next map. After Xiao He actively picked up the loot, Chu Han took him to the next dungeon. There is no other way. A mage who only knows how to cast forbidden spells looks so plain and boring when he paints pictures. After 2 hours of grinding, Chu Han rose to level 5. Xiao He's level has also reached LV.80. When the glare flashed from his body, Xiao He raised his front hooves and looked up to the sky and screamed. Immediately afterwards, the black flames on its surface became more intense, forming a wave of fire that jumped along the curve of its body. Under Chu Han's gaze, 2 bumps bulged out on its back, and they continued to expand and become larger. Finally, the bulge exploded and turned into a pair of black wings, emitting bursts of ghostly light, stretching on both sides of Xiao Hei's body. "Damn, he's so handsome," Chu Han shouted loudly. After Xiao Hei's transformation was completed, he hurriedly checked the information. Name: Demon Flame Thunderwing Horse. Nickname: Xiao Hei.
Rank: Divine Beast. Master: Chu Han. Level: LV.80.
Physique: 2405. Open black lens bracket power. 2405 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket wisdom. 3205 close black lens bracket. Agility: 2805. Open black lens bracket spirit. 2405 close black lens bracket. Skills: Blackwing Demon Fall, Pegasus Black Dragon Wave. Chu Han was slightly surprised. Xiao Hei's attributes have grown so rapidly, and he has also learned 2 skills. However, this is not the key point. The most important thing is that not only did it grow wings, but it was also big enough for me to ride on it. Chu Han patted the tall horse's back and said excitedly, "Xiao Hei, quickly, get down and let me ride for a while." Xiao Hei groaned a few times, and bent his submissive limbs, letting Chu Han ride up.
Wow, sitting on the horse, Chu Han stroked the huge wings, feeling more attractive than the girl's skin. Xiao Hei roared, spreading his hooves and running forward. After a while of running, it spread its giant wings and soared into the sky. The towering ancient trees beside him fell rapidly. Chu Han drove Xiao Hei and quickly rushed out of the forest.
His mood was extremely exciting. This was much more exciting than flying with his own skills.
After riding for a long time, Chu Han patted the horse's back and said,
"Okay, let's go down first." Xiao Hei got the order and prepared to return to the ground. And at this moment, Chu Han suddenly saw, not far in front of him, a divine light fell from the sky and fell into the forest. At the same time, system prompts came frantically. Open black lens bracket warn. 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 Close black lens bracket. A random boss has been refreshed in Deep Sea City. The hexagonal giant, close black lens bracket. Residents of Shanghai City, please be on guard and kill them as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 81 Ruthless Fighting, Brutal Hexagonal Giant. Deep Sea City Defense Team Base. Assemble, assemble. All team leaders, within 3 minutes, gather all the team members and report to me. Cao Bin, the chief soldier of the city defense team, saw the system warning that the random boss refreshed, and immediately issued an order. In the office, Hu Kai, the deputy chief soldier, handed over the tea and said disapprovingly, "General Soldier, why are you so nervous? Didn't the boss just refresh, and it didn't cause any damage? Maybe it's the same as the spiritual mirror Pisces before, it's not aggressive at all." Stop King farting. Cao Bin angrily knocked over the water glass. The hexagonal giant is a random boss recorded in the book. Don't you understand how ferocious it is? Don't think I don't know what you're planning. Don't you just want to wait for the boss to invade the city and make a big deal before taking action, so that you can ask people for benefits? Hu Kai laughed when his mind was exposed. Chief Soldier, you can't blame me for this. Our city defense team has been doing the most dangerous work, and there is too little oil and water. I also think about my brothers. Get out. Cao Bin became even more angry, as if he hated iron but not steel. Let me tell you, even if we don't make a move, there will be others to kill the boss. The most important thing in this deep sea city is a strong man. The reputation of our city defense team has been ruined enough by you. If we wait for other forces to kill the boss and we don't move, it will be a joke for all ages. Do you think I've been sitting in the position of chief soldier for too long, and you want to get me down? The more Cao Bin talked, the more excited he became, and he slapped the wooden table with a slap sound. Don't dare not, you are too serious. Hu Kai was obedient. Knowing that Cao Bin was really angry, he didn't dare to talk anymore, and hurried out to gather his troops. Moaning Forest. Chu Han couldn't help being overjoyed as he looked at the divine light from the sky in front of him. This divine light is obviously the birthplace of the random boss hexagonal giant. This guy actually brushed his face. Really not poking, today's luck is really not poking. Soon, the divine light faded, and a giant more than 20 meters tall stepped out of it. It had 6 horns on its head, raised its head to the sky and roared loudly, and when it appeared, it waved its hand casually and knocked down a large tree. Looking around, Chu Han saw that the hexagonal giant was covered with copper skin and iron bones, like cast from molten iron, possessing a top-notch defense force visible to the naked eye. Go, Xiao Hei, go play with it. Chu Han became playful and urged Xiao Hei to fly forward, hoping that it would take this opportunity to exercise its combat ability. After all, he was just born not long ago, and Xiao Hei's combat experience is not enough. Jiji. Xiao Hei groaned. It flapped its wings and hesitated, as if it was afraid of the hexagonal giant. What's wrong with you? Are you scared? Chu Han was puzzled, so he quickly checked the information of the hexagonal giant. Name: Hexagonal Giant, Extreme Boss, Attribute, Giant. Open black lens bracket level. LV.400 close black lens bracket, health volume. 9800W, 9800W, open black lens bracket physique. 24,887 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket power. 37,828 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket wisdom. 23,148 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket agility. 21,874 close black lens bracket.
Spirit. 22,711. Combat power value. 212,511. Skills. Ruthless fighting. Roaring king. Shattering heaven and earth. Sweeping thousands of miles. Foot of Mount High.
Not very strong. Chu Han stroked the horse's head, trying to encourage Xiao He.
It's just a supreme boss. You are a beast. Why are you afraid of it? Go and give it a little shock. Seeing that Xiao He was still hesitating, Chu Han showed a kind smile. If you don't go again, I'll roast the two of you together. Whoosh. Little Black's wings shook, and he rushed towards the hexagonal giant bravely.
At the same time, many professionals flocked to the Wailing Forest. All received system warnings. Among the group of people who came here, most of them came to watch the fun. After all, refreshing a random boss is not a trivial matter for any city. What's more, the boss that was refreshed this time is a ferocious and extremely aggressive boss like the hexagonal giant.
Many reporters and anchors didn't want to let this big melon go, and rushed to come here. If you can capture the whole process of killing the boss and cut it into a video when you go back, it will definitely be a big hit. Not long after, hundreds of people surrounded the Forest of Sorrows.
Moreover, the number is still rising sharply. F*K. Look, this is the hexagonal giant. It's so fierce. Just looking at it from a distance, I'm short of breath. Grass. A 400 level supreme boss, it's worth seeing once in this lifetime.
Is it really level 400? I can't even see its level.
Why are all the people who came here watching? No one did anything. If you don't kill the boss, it will enter the city center. Where's the city defense team? Are there people here? You still count on the city defense team? They're probably still at home, calculating the cost of fighting the boss. Then what should we do? To kill this boss, at least a rank 8 boss should take action. I don't think there is such a character at the scene. Wait, let's see if the people from the spiritual practice church will make a move. More and more people gathered, but their strength was average. No one dared to challenge the hexagonal giant easily. Some rank 7 professionals were eager to try, but they were all blocked by their companions, and they never made a move. After all, judging by the strength of the boss, it is not something that can be done with 7 ranks. At this time, there was a sudden commotion in the crowd. Get out of the way, get out of the way. The boss is handed over to our city defense team, and the idlers are all out of the way, and we will not be responsible for accidental injuries. Hu Kai came with a group of people, pushed through the crowd and walked to the front. Family, did you see that our Shanghai city defense team has appeared? To be honest, the anchor is a little disappointed. I thought it would be the Lingshou Church to handle this matter. It seems that the family members have no chance to see the demeanor of Elder Shen Xingchen. A young girl held a live broadcast device and frequently interacted with the audience without stopping. Hu Kai's ears are deaf. He heard all these words, his face turned black immediately. What bullshit spirituality church? Guarding the safety of the city is the responsibility of our city defense team, and has nothing to do with others. I repeat, the idlers stay away from here immediately, and we will not be held responsible if we cause accidental injuries when we kill the boss. After finishing speaking, he turned around and pointed at the hexagonal giant, Captain 3. The third captain immediately understood, and hooked a team member, Xiao Li, go and lure the boss here. Everyone else, enter the combat readiness state. Xiao Li is a rank 5 knight. His attributes and equipment focus on blood volume and resistance, and his defense is full. After he took the order, he rushed forward and launched a provocative skill against the boss. Roar, the hexagonal giant was provoked and immediately turned around, targeting Xiao Li. It pulled out 2 animal bones from its waist, then raised its head to the sky and screamed. Roar. A roar with a dizzy effect came, and Xiao Li was the first to bear the brunt. The hexagonal giant stunned him, quickly raised the bone stick in his hand, and slammed it down. Boom. Minus 462,781. Crit. The damage value of more than 400,000 floated up, and Xiao Li was directly hammered away. However, this injury was completely unbearable for him, and he lost 1/7 of his blood. Little Li, come back quickly and bring the boss over. The others are ready to attack. The 3 captains commanded loudly. Hu Kai also ordered, everyone, fully cooperate with the third team. When Xiao Li heard what the captain said, he stood up and retreated to the rear. Roar. But at this time, the hexagonal giant swung the animal bone quickly and smashed it down again. The third captain saw that the situation was not good, and immediately shouted, Priest, give the shield. Guard the holy light. Angel shield. A few rays of holy light appeared on Xiao Li, and he felt a little relieved. At the same time, the animal bones of the hexagonal giant have arrived. Boom. Minus 351,571. Crit. Being smashed into the air again, Xiao Li's blood was lost again. However, he is not far away from the team now, and the boss has also entered the attack range. A large number of skills began to be released, and they all greeted the hexagonal giant, making it scream in pain. Xiao Li was overjoyed, got up and released his taunting skills again, and then started to run back. The hexagonal giant was suddenly furious. It aimed at Xiao Li's position, and alternately raised and smashed its arms. Although it has a huge body, its movements are extremely fast. The two animal bones struck continuously, and in the blink of an eye, more than a dozen attacks had been launched. Minus 462,781. Crit. Minus 231,390 minus 462,781. Crit. A series of damage values floated up, and amidst Xiao Li's miserable cry, his blood volume was instantly emptied. The hexagonal giant showed its might. Xiao Li, who was a rank 5 Blood Ox Knight, was killed immediately. Chapter 82 appear in front of people, the mysterious Prince Charming. The mournful forest is silent. The death of Knight Xiao Li cast a layer of fear in everyone's heart. The hexagonal giant is at least 20 meters tall, but it can actually launch more than a dozen attacks in just a few seconds. What a crap. It's so outrageous that his mother opened the door for outrageousness. It's so outrageous. High defense, high attack, high agility. This is such a god. Deputy Commander-in-Chief Hu Kai gritted his teeth and a few drops of sweat ran down his forehead. The members of their city defense team are also well trained. However, under absolute power, all tactics seem so ridiculous. No, there are so many people watching, we can't be embarrassed. Even if the reputation of the city defense team is bad, it can't be in your own hands. Thinking about it in his mind, Hu Kai began to contact Cao Bin to report the situation and apply for higher combat strength support. Just then, a shout came from the crowd. Look, there seems to be someone next to boss. That's not a human, is it? It looks like a Pegasus, a black Pegasus. Is it a monster brought by the boss? Don't be ridiculous, there are no monsters in the random boss? That's just a person? Yes, I can see clearly, there is indeed a person on the horse. The scene became noisy again, but the object of their discussion changed from the hexagonal giant to the mysterious figure on horseback. Hu Kai also looked up, his eyes were extremely complicated. Could it be that some mighty man started to make a move? No, we must not let the boss die at his hands, otherwise, the city defense team will definitely become the biggest loser today. In midair, Chu Han was slightly depressed. He was playing well at first, but Xiao He gradually entered the state and became familiar with various fighting techniques. Unexpectedly, boss was suddenly attracted to others and turned around to leave. At this time, he discovered that a large number of people had gathered on the ground. Xiao He, stop playing around and kill it quickly, otherwise it will be watched. Z. After getting familiar with the battle, Xiao He even screamed with confidence. Get ready. Tian the Heilongbo. Following Chu Han's command, Xiao He flew to a high place, and immediately sprayed out a wave of black energy from his mouth. ZZ. Minus 57,248, minus 57,248, minus 57,248. The black wave shoots at the molten iron body of the hexagonal giant. It seems to be quite powerful, but the damage caused is neither painful nor itchy. Roar. The hexagonal giant roared, and a sonic attack with a stun effect struck. Chu Han hastily released the forbidden spell, Bihai Chaosheng. A dozen water waves spread suddenly. Chu Han seemed to have transformed into a sea god, creating a shocking tsunami in the air. The majestic water element burst out instantly, not only cancelling out the control effect, but also causing considerable damage to the hexagonal giant. Wow, a burst of exclamations broke out from the crowd of people watching below. What a cool skill. Who is this boss? Looks like a mage. Could it be Elder Shen Xingchen? Impossible. Elder Shen's mount is a red-blooded crane, not a black Pegasus at all. Is there a mage who rides a black Pegasus in our deep-sea city? I've never heard of this guy. I don't know. First time seeing you. Damn it, the distance is too far. I can't see his information. Who has high-level long-distance detection skills? Can you find out who he is? I do, I just watched it, he told me. Look at my sister. What do you mean? Is your sister pretty? Forget it, no matter who he is, as long as he can kill the boss. Come on, boss. Come on, Prince Charming, Prince Charming? Chu Han smiled slightly in midair, the title was quite pleasing to the ear. Then he patted the horse's head. Okay, Xiao He, don't be ashamed, your damage is not enough for now. You fly closer to the boss, just keep within 50 meters and leave the rest to me. Gee. Xiao He hissed unconvinced. After spraying the boss again, he carried out Chu Han's order and started approaching the hexagonal giant. Seeing the black horse approaching, the hexagonal giant waved a pair of animal bones and danced wildly. However, Xiao He, who has already been proficient in flying posture, moves far faster than the hexagonal giant, and can avoid the attack every time. It is like a fly, neither far nor near, circling around the boss. Roar. Roar. The hexagonal giant's attacks failed one after another, and he became extremely irritable, but there was nothing he could do. Good job, Blackie. Look at me, reincarnation whispers. Chu Han gently raised his hand, and a wisp of black air quietly appeared, slowly approaching the hexagonal giant. Wow, look, the black horse's attack has stopped. What's the situation? Are they getting closer to the boss? Could it be that the boss is going to do it himself? F*K. I'm looking forward to it. Quick, video, record. A group of people are excited and looking forward to what happens next. Oh shit. Hu Kai cursed gloomily, then waved his hand. Archers, warlocks, and mages all follow me. They quickly formed a small team, and quietly approached the boss when the others were not paying attention. After closing the distance, Hu Kai found a hidden place and ordered, "Get ready to attack." Deputy Chief Soldier. A 6th rank mage asked, "Wouldn't it be better to hand over the boss to that boss? We won't be able to help with our little damage." What fart? Hu Kai cursed in a low voice, "If he kills the boss, our city defense team will be reduced to a complete joke." The team members were even more puzzled. "Then you still ask us to help?" Hu Kai smiled grimly, and said, "Help me. The target I asked you to attack is not the boss, but the man on the horse." What? The team members were startled. "This is not good. What if we offend that boss?" "Hey," Hu Kai said disdainfully, "remember, we just want to kill the boss, but the skills are a bit crooked. At worst, I apologize to him. What else can he do? Besides, I have already applied to the headquarters for support, and 10 rank 7 masters will come over soon. By then, he may not be our opponent." "Stop talking nonsense. Look, that guy seems to be about to use skills on the boss. Everyone obey orders, attack the man on the black horse, and harass him with all your might." Exploding sky bow. Hu Kai took the lead in launching the attack, and shot directly at Chu Han with a 6th level archer skill. The others also agreed with the words of the deputy chief soldier, and they all followed up with their skills. There is danger below. Close black lens bracket Chu Han's. Samsara whispers, was just halfway through, when a reminder came from the heart of Bai Zi. Xiao He, get out of the way. He hastily terminated his skills and ordered Xiao He to dodge to the side. Swish. Swish. Boom. More than a dozen skills instantly bombarded where Chu Han was just now. What's the situation? Chu coldly looked down. Soon, he followed the ballistic direction of the skill and saw the team hiding in the forest. Could it be that he also came to kill the boss, and ended up distorting his skills? Chu Han thought to himself, but in the next second, he denied this guess. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Even if the skills are misplaced, it is impossible for the entire team to misuse them. What's more, just now, the heart of Bai Zi warned that there is danger below, and that was the warning before they released their skills. This shows that the target they aimed at the beginning was themselves. Having figured this out, Chu Han smiled, and threw out the ice-type forbidden spell instantly. Dictatorship Field. He controlled the release of his skills, only freezing a small group of people, and did not spread to the cheerleaders cheering for him in the distance. "Since you sneaked up on me, don't blame me for being cruel." Chu Han's face was gloomy and cold, with murderous intentions everywhere. Immediately, he waved again, "Purgatory natural disaster. Chapter 83 Old thing, you are acting with me, right?" Boom. Boom. 5 consecutive Purgatory natural disasters with 10% power hit them. It not only guarantees enough damage, but also does not affect the innocent. The team headed by Hu Kai was instantly reduced to ashes. Huh? What is Prince Charming doing? Why doesn't his skill hit the boss? Is it disturbed, so the skill is placed in the wrong direction? Maybe. Look, he has shot again. Continue recording. After finishing off the attackers, Chu Han continued to drive Xiao He around the hexagonal giant. Samsara whispers. The dark forbidden spell strikes again, and the black mist reappears. This time, without any hindrance, the black mist slowly drifted towards the boss. The hexagonal giant had already fallen into a state of extreme anger, waving the bone club frantically, but it never even touched Xiao He's hair from the beginning to the end. Soon, the 20-second countdown is over. Call out. -9,999,999,999,999,999. A number so red that it was about to bleed floated up from the boss's head. Roar. Boom. With a final wail, the hexagonal giant crashed to the ground, smashing a large area of trees and stirring up endless smoke and dust. The boss died very lively, but the people watching all around fell into deathly silence. Everyone was stunned, as if frozen in place. I saw. What? Fake. It must be fake. Who saw clearly what happened? Prince Charming circled around the boss a few times, and it fell down. Could it be that you stunned the boss? What nonsense are you talking about? The body of the boss has disappeared. It's dead, and it's dead. Boom! A commotion erupted from the crowd, and voices of shock and doubt arose everywhere. But Chu Han didn't have time to pay attention to this. He drove Xiao He, and rushed to the ground at the limit speed. There are so many people present, maybe there will be some small hands that are not very clean and will touch their own spoils. Therefore, Chu Han immediately rushed to the spoils and quickly picked them up. Then, he flew back into the air and scurried away. Wow, the boss is leaving. Don't go, Prince Charming, can you sign your name? Sign me one too, I've been your 10-year-old fan. 10 years is nothing. My century-old fan came here uninvited, can I let my younger brother see the true face? A group of people instantly turned into fans, and followed Chu Han in a wild chase. Among them, there are also those with flying skills and beasts, and they have also used them. But their speed couldn't compare to Xiao Hei's, so they could barely catch some exhaust gas behind Chu Han. Huh? What's the situation? At this time, the support troops of the city defense team came, but they didn't see the boss, but saw a group of people surging in the opposite direction. Did the boss run away? The captain of the supporting force was puzzled. No, that's the direction of the city center. If the boss goes there, it should cause a sensation. But it was still quiet when we rushed over. At this time, a team member reminded, Captain, look, there is no boss at all here. According to records, the hexagonal giant is more than 20 meters high. If it is here, it can definitely be seen at a glance. The captain nodded. In desperation, he had no choice but to stop a young man. Young man, do you see where the hexagonal giant is? The young man shook his arm impatiently. What are you doing? Ouch, brother Black Horse ran away. It's all your fault, otherwise I would have caught up with him. Who are you? Why stop me? The captain was embarrassed by the mouthful. Don't get me wrong, we are members of the city defense team, and we are here to destroy the hexagonal giant. Peeved. The young man couldn't help but spit out. It's just you guys, still destroying the hexagonal giants? You can't even keep up with the hot ones. The boss was killed by my Black Horse brother a long time ago. You guys stay where you are, a bunch of clowns. Everyone in the city defense team. What the hell, I received an order to come to support, but I didn't do anything when I first arrived at the scene, so I got hurt first. But they couldn't make things difficult for a child, so they had to let him go first. Captain, what should we do? The team members asked one after another. The captain shrugged helplessly. Didn't you hear that? The boss has been killed. Let's go back first and see what the chief soldier has to say. Then, a group of people returned the same way. On the other side, Chu Han rode Xiao Hei all the way. These fanatical fans behind him are even more troublesome than boss. Although they left most of them behind, some of them with high-level flying skills could barely keep up. Until, Chu Han rode a black celestial horse into a protective barrier, and the people behind him stopped. Stop, stop, stop chasing. Did you see that he actually entered Zijin Club? My god, what is the identity of this Prince Charming? It must be some big shot who killed the boss, and he doesn't want to be too high profile to be known. Then shall we still chase? Chasing farts? How dare you break into Zijin society? Don't die. Although Zijin Club in Shanghai City looks from the outside, it is just a slightly more luxurious villa area, which is unremarkable. But everyone knows, those who are eligible to live here are either people with high authority or high positions, or those who have made great contributions to the Dragon Kingdom. Any one of them is definitely an existence that ordinary people look up to. Now that Chu Han has entered this place, the people following him naturally dare not enter without permission. A group of people sighed for a long time, but in the end they could only leave in resentment. Inside Zijin Club, Chu Han took Xiao Hei into the pet beast space, and quickly opened the door and walked into the villa. The aroma of tea overflows in the room. Shen Xingchen was sitting on the sofa, savoring the Tianshan snow tea in his hand. What are you doing, in a hurry? Seeing Chu Han coming in, Shen Xingchen squinted and said. It's okay. Where's your granddaughter? Chu Han sat across from him and poured himself a cup of tea. Going out. What do you want to do with her? It's okay, just ask casually. Chu Han gulped it down. By the way, I found that Shui Ning. He promised to come to repair the villa early tomorrow morning. Well, when it came to this topic, Shen Xingchen let out a long sigh and put down his teacup lightly. His whole body was surrounded by a sluggish breath. What's the use of repairing it? It can't be the same as before. Hearing this, Chu Han's heart tightened. Sure enough, old Shen still cared about that house very much. After all, it is something left by the sun in the world, how could it be unimportant? Although he didn't seem to care about it on the surface, but in the end, he still couldn't escape his heart. Feelings of guilt surged. Chu Han felt a little sore in his chest. He clasped his hands tightly and said hesitantly. Old Shen, I'm really sorry about this matter, but fixing the house is the only thing I can do. If this doesn't work, you can tell me what can I do to make it up. It's useless. It's useless to do anything. Shen Xingchen shook his head slowly, showing a sad expression. Seeing this, Chu Han clenched his fist tightly and lowered his head angrily. The atmosphere was extremely heavy. After a long time, Shen Xingchen spoke again, unless. Chu Han suddenly raised his head and looked over expectantly.
Unless you do something for me. After Shen Xingchen finished speaking, the corners of his mouth trembled slightly, as if trying to hold back a laugh. Chu Han. He frowned and carefully looked at Shen Xingchen's expression. I saw that old face, and now there was no trace of sadness anymore.
Instead, cunning, success, it is a merciless mockery. Chu Han's pupils vibrated, and he trembled with anger. Old man, You are acting with me, right? Chapter 84. What, am I a double? Why, are you upset? Just now I said that I want to make up for the old man, but now I want to break my promise, don't you? Shen Xingchen put his hands on his hips and said aggressively. Okay, I owe you. Chu Han had no choice but to compromise. Tell me, what do you want me to do for you this time? Hey, it's a good job this time, most people don't have the qualifications to go. While speaking, Shen Xingchen hooked his fingers mysteriously. Come here with your ears.
Chu Han's eyes were alert, and he also understood that the more Shen Xingchen said this, the bigger the pit might be. Both of them bent down and got closer. Shen Xingchen whispered. These days, I have to deal with some personal matters. But as the great elder of the spiritual cultivation church, this old man cannot leave at will. So, I want you to go to the spiritual church and be my substitute for a while. After listening to it, Chu Han was stunned. What the hell, am I a stand-in?
How could this old man think that it is only a matter of time? No. Chu Han was at a loss for words for a moment. There were too many flaws in this matter, and he didn't even know how to speak. Organize the language, he decided to ask from the beginning. What are you going to do? Shen Xingchen looked up at the sky. It's just a personal matter. Chu Han waved his hand, ready to leave. If you're so insincere, then there's nothing to talk about. Sit down. Shen Xingchen frowned. Isn't it all right for the old man to tell you? Actually, it's not a big deal. It's just that Shalwabao's birthday is coming up, and I'm going to take her on a tour back to the sea. Weihai is the largest sea area on Blue Star, running through the entire Eastern Hemisphere continent. Going around it, you can basically visit all the coastal countries. Chu Han couldn't help laughing. This old guy came to ask himself to do something, and it was for a woman again. It's the same every time, but... Chu Han suddenly thought of something. Aren't you afraid that your granddaughter will know? Shen Xingchen smiled slyly. I told Susu that there are a lot of affairs in the guild during this period, and I'm busy deciding who will participate in the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony, so I won't go home for the time being. True martial arts ceremony? Chu Han was slightly taken aback. The name seemed familiar, as if Shen Xingchen had mentioned it before. I remember you told me. What kind of ceremony is this? You will send me there, right? Shen Xingchen pondered for a moment, then replied immediately, it's not a sure thing. However, if you become the old man's substitute, you will be able to enjoy the rights of the great elder, and you can recommend yourself at that time. As an old man, his words are rich in gold. Also, the rewards for the winners of the true martial ceremony are very tempting. Is there a reward? Chu Han's eyes lit up. What reward? Shen Xingchen pretended to be mysterious and said, of course I don't know now, but this is a nationwide competition, and the rewards are absolutely amazing. Seeing his serious appearance, Chu Han couldn't help becoming interested. I promise you, but how can I be your substitute? People in the guild are not blind. Simple. Shen Xingchen handed Chu Han a card. Use this, trick card. Chu Han reached out to take it. Props, tricky card. Open black lens bracket level. Star close black lens bracket. Introduction. It can change the appearance into the appearance of the target, and the duration is 24 hours. The target must be a friend of the user. Damn, the props are all ready. You kid has been thinking about messing with me for a long time, right? Shen Xingchen curled his lips. That's impolite, I'm your master. Chu Han accepted his fate. All right, my good master, I will go to the spiritual cultivation church with you tomorrow. That's about the same. Shen Xingchen smiled triumphantly. Early the next morning, Shui Ning came as scheduled. Looking at the dilapidated villa, he began to show his professionalism, and soon drew up a specific repair plan. Please, make it exactly the same as before. After Chu Han explained to Shui Ning, he followed Shen Xingchen to the spiritual cultivation church. Walking in through the gate, the first thing you see is a white church. On the front of the church is an arched stone gate. Above the stone gate, a huge pendulum sways gently. This is where our guild members usually go about their activities. Shen Xingchen introduced. Come on, I'll show you around to get acquainted. Stepping into the church, a young man walked up to him. Elder Shen. Seeing Shen Xingchen, he immediately stood up straight and greeted him. Afterwards, his eyes swept to the side, and when he saw Chu Han, he couldn't help being startled. This young man is exactly Jia Xin who went to the plague farm with Shen Susu before. At that time, Chu Han made up the story in order to deceive everyone, and he also heard it from beginning to end. Seeing Shen Xingchen's senior brother here, Senior Chu, Jia Xin suddenly became nervous again. Qian. Chu Han, why are you here? Knowing that Chu Han wanted to hide his identity, he forcibly suppressed the word, senior. Ahem. Chu Han was also a little embarrassed, and put on a posture of a hermit. Yeah, nothing happened recently, come and have a look. Jia Xin was full of admiration. Then, where do you want to go? Can I show you the way? The first time I saw Chu Han at the church headquarters, Jia Xin knew that he didn't know his way, so he volunteered. Shen Xingchen watched from the side, but didn't understand what kind of illness these two boys were suffering from. He said to Jia Xin, it's just right, if you are fine, take us to the new meeting hall. I heard that the chamber has been moved to another place, and I don't know where it is yet. Yeah. Jia Xin accepted the order happily. Your elder brother, come with me. Lao? Shen Xingchen frowned, realizing that something was wrong. But as the great elder, he had to put on airs, so he didn't ask much.
Jia Xin led the way energetically, and soon came to the third floor of the church. Walking in the long corridor, Chu Han whispered to Shen Xingchen, "Hey, what is this meeting hall for?" "Of course it's a hall for discussions. From now on, you can come here every morning at 8 o'clock, just show your face." Shen Xingchen replied. A morning meeting. Chu Han sighed. Unexpectedly, in another world, he could not escape the fate of beating workers. Then how long do I have to stay? Shen Xingchen pondered for a while, and then said, "About 2 months. By the way, you should not go out for these 2 months, so as not to expose your identity. Anyway, there is a place for you to sleep here." "What?" Chu Han's face changed. "It's been so long, why can't you go out? Why didn't you say earlier? Old guy, you deliberately tricked me, didn't you?"
Shen Xingchen also had a tough attitude. "What's wrong with cheating on you? Don't you cheat on me too often? What's wrong with cheating on you once?" Chu Han gritted his teeth and grabbed Shen Xingchen's white beard. "Old man, tell me clearly, when did I cheat you?" Shen Xingchen also grabbed Chu Han's hair. "What a rebellion. Jia Xin, come here and kill this kid for the old man." Jia Xin, who was leading the way, looked back and was startled by the two people behind. Immediately, he turned his head slowly again, without saying anything. "Just kidding, the two old brothers are fighting here. Which round will I, a junior, get involved?" Alas, honestly lead the way. Chapter 85 Short and Powerless, Notes of the Old Evil God. On the window at the end of the corridor, there are crimson blue curtains, and the light shines in, casting a solemn luster on the carpet. Jia Xin pushed open the metal door on the left, and there were brand new tables and chairs inside. "Elder Shen, this is our new meeting hall." Shen Xingchen stepped in and nodded in satisfaction. "Okay, you go first." After dismissing Jia Xin, he closed the door and explained carefully to Chu Han. "According to what I told you before, from now on, come here to show your face at 8 o'clock in the morning every day, do you hear me?" "Got it, Rory, let's talk." Chu Han was very upset when Shen Xingchen hammered his head full of bruises just now. "But I don't know what you usually look like. What should you do if someone finds out that something is wrong?" Shen Xingchen chuckled. "It's easy to handle. When others talk, you just need to nod, shake your head, smile or curl your lips. You are the great elder. Others will come to check your words and look at your expressions. You don't have to worry about what they think." Chu Han nodded, half understood. "Anyway, it's just pretending, I'm good at this." Shen Xingchen glanced at him and didn't bother to talk to him. After remembering the location, he brought Chu Han to a room on the 5th floor. "This is the old man's place. For the next few days, you can sleep here." Chu Han raised his eyes and saw that the suite was fully furnished. After all, he was a great elder, and his living conditions were still very good. After everything was explained, Shen Xingchen looked at the time. It was now 7 o'clock in the morning. "I won't accompany you any longer, it's meeting time in an hour, don't forget." After finishing speaking, Shen Xingchen couldn't wait to walk to the window, opened the window and jumped down. F*K. Chu Han was taken aback and ran over quickly. This building seems to be standing on a cliff, with a bottomless abyss outside the window. He looked around and finally saw a blood-red shadow flying into the distance. That was Shen Xingchen's mount, the Scarlet Blood Spirit Crane. Chu Han let out a breath of relief, closed the window, and sat down at the desk. It can be seen that Shen Xingchen is a very particular person. The tabletop is made of silkworm wood, with sparse silver spots on it, which is an extremely rare species. The books are placed very neatly, and emit a faint unique fragrance, which is refreshing. In such an atmosphere, it makes people have the desire to read. Chu Han slumped on the chair, adjusting a comfortable posture. Then, he picked up a yellow book, opened the cover. Open black lens bracket chapter 1. The landlady close black lens bracket. I go. Chu Han jumped up and threw the book into the corner. Good guy, this old man, he has read a lot. After being frightened, Chu Han slowed down his breathing and calmed his heartbeat. Immediately afterwards, he lay down on the table and began to search, expecting to find something more exciting. However, he was disappointed. Except for the yellow paper, the rest are too serious. The serious Chu Han was a little sleepy. Huh? Notes of the Old Evil God? Suddenly, he found something different and pulled it out from the pile of books. It's not a book, more like a notebook. Judging from the title of the book, it should record something related to the old evil gods. Will you remember something about the flower demon on the other side? Chu Han hurriedly opened the cover. The first page had only one line. Sequence 1, Unknown. Close black lens bracket below is a blank space. What? Chu Han couldn't help frowning, and turned to the next page. Sequence 2, Blood Kylan. The strength is unknown. According to historical records, it brought unprecedented disasters and nearly destroyed the human race. After that, it fell asleep in the territory of the Dragon Kingdom. The exact location is unknown. Close black lens bracket. There were only these words, and Chu Han couldn't help scratching his head. Is this a note or an introduction? Turn another page. Sequence 3, Worldly Python. Everything is unknown. Close black lens bracket. Chu Han. He speeded up the browsing and found that those with serial numbers at the front almost only remembered 1 or 2 sentences.
It wasn't until page 37 that the record began to become detailed. Sequence 37, Snow Girl. Level 510, Combat Power Value 31 million, controls Ice Forbidden Spell. Close black lens bracket. Awakened in the Sakura Kingdom, causing a large number of casualties, and the Sakura Kingdom was on the verge of collapse. Close black lens bracket. King Kato Shinku personally knelt at the border of the Dragon Kingdom, kowtowed 300 times, and begged for help. Close black lens bracket. Marshal Long Haokang of the Dragon Kingdom border army adhered to the principle of humanity as the foundation, and led his troops to encircle and suppress Shui Nu. It lasted 3 months and killed her in Shungfang Harbor. Close black lens bracket. Sakura country tried its best to cover up this period of history, but with little success. Close black lens bracket. Sakura country again. Chu Han felt nauseous. When he turned to the next page, there was no record, only an inexplicable text. Where did the evil gods of old come from? Close black lens bracket. Who compiled the serial number? Close black lens bracket.
Why are the rankings all over the world so surprisingly consistent, without exception? Close black lens bracket. Behind all this, is it the distortion of human nature or the loss of morality? Close black lens bracket.
If you want to know what happens next, listen to the explanation next time. Close black lens bracket.
Gone? Chu Han quickly flipped through the pages to see if there was any record of sequence 44, the flower demon, from the other side. But when I turned to the end, there was no trace of handwriting left. Depend on, I've already written 37, can't I write more? What a rubbish author, short and weak. Chu Han, who was extremely disappointed, picked up the pen on the table, gritted his teeth and wrote 2 big words at the end of the note. Urgent update. Throwing the notebook back to its original place, Chu Han glanced at the time. 7:32 a.m. There's still an hour before the meeting starts. Chu Han lay on the bed, set an alarm clock for 7:50, and prepared to go back to sleep. Just as he closed his eyes, he suddenly felt something was wrong. As a dignified elder, do you still need to arrive on time for meetings? So he reset the alarm clock to 8:30, and then fell asleep happily. When he woke up, Chu Han felt refreshed. He slowly got out of bed and washed himself carefully. After finishing, he took out the trick card and turned himself into Shen Xingchen. Anyway, with Perosa's necklace, he wasn't afraid of others seeing through it. After everything was ready, Chu Han pushed open the door of the conference hall on time at 9 o'clock. Squeak. The door opened and light came in. Inside the meeting hall, it was empty. Chu Han. No way, I'm an hour late, but I'm still the first to arrive? Or did you mean that they had already finished the meeting and left? Chu Han was a little at a loss. Just when he was in a dilemma, footsteps suddenly came from behind. Several old men with white beards who were about the same age as Shen Xingchen came over talking and laughing. But after seeing Shen Xingchen, a group of people looked at each other and froze in place, their steps stagnant. Elder Shen, why are you standing here? Usually this great immortal is too lazy to lie down and sleep during every meeting. Today, he was so unusual that he stood up with his legs on the ground. Chu Han blinked his eyes, there was no expression on his face, and he didn't know what to say. At this time, another old man stood up and asked tentatively, Elder Shen, do you have any instructions to convey? Hearing this, Chu Han suddenly remembered what Shen Xingchen taught him before leaving. When listening to others speak, just nod, shake your head, smile and curl your lips. Let them guess the rest. After making up his mind, Chu Han chose 2 expressions from them. The corners of his mouth turned up, then he smiled gently at the crowd and nodded. Chapter 86 Chu Han, do you long for power? Soon, everyone came together. The long conference table was full of people, all eyes focused on Shen Xingchen. Today it was rare for Elder Shen to speak, so they naturally listened attentively. Chu Han's thoughts raced, his brain speed was overloaded, and he finally thought of something. Ahem. He cleared his throat and put on an expression of being dragged to the sky. What I want to say is very important, you all listen to this old man. As soon as these words came out, many cadres immediately sat upright, staring intently. Chu Han continued. I want you to do your best to find the certificate for the rank 6 of the mage profession. After finishing speaking, he added, remember, when you find it, give it to the old man directly and don't put it in the guild warehouse. Just kidding, I don't have warehouse permissions, so I have to watch it if I put it in there. Hearing this task, many cadres were puzzled. Elder Shen, why did you suddenly ask for a job transfer certificate from the mage department? Yeah, does our guild have any mages who have to do the mission of the 6th rank? Even if there is no need for so many cadres to help him find a job transfer certificate. A mage is just a mage, and there is no value in training. The person who said this sentence was suddenly stunned, wishing to slap both of them. You know, Shen Xingchen is also a mage profession. In front of his face, I actually said that the master was not good. Damn, I haven't spoken to Elder Shen for too long, yet I would make such a low-level mistake in front of him. Sure enough, Chu Han slowly turned his head to look at him, with a smile on his face. Why, do you look down on mages? No, no. I'm not, I didn't. The cadre was so frightened that he trembled under Chu Han's gaze. Chu Han smiled even wider. Since there is no, then find it for me now. If you can't find it, don't come back forever. Yes, yes, this subordinate will go now. The cadre's face was ashen, trembling like sifting chaff. He only hated his parents for losing 2 legs, so he ran out in a hurry. The others immediately lowered their heads, for fear that Shen Xingchen's anger would burn on themselves. It hasn't been a day or two since the great elder has a weird temper, and they don't want to provoke him. Seeing everyone's reaction, Chu Han couldn't help secretly happy. It seems that my impromptu performance was quite successful. It must be Shen Xingchen, an old boy who has done all kinds of bad things in his daily life, that made these cadres submissive, and he didn't dare to resist at all. After being addicted to the elders, Chu Han sat there and stopped talking.
You can't play too much, otherwise it will be easy to reveal your secrets. A moment of silence. A veteran cadre plucked up his courage and asked Chu Han, Elder Shen, do you have any other instructions? Chu Han smiled and shook his head. Huh. The cadre secretly breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, the metal door was pushed open from the outside, and a skinny old man walked slowly.
Seeing this person, all the cadres suddenly stood up, very respectful. President. Chu Han was startled. President? Didn't Lao Shen say that the president, Yao Shengyu, wouldn't show up easily? Damn it, could it be that I'm so weak that I hit the muzzle on the first day I was a stand-in? He was extremely entangled, and he didn't know what state Shen Xingchen was in front of the president. After hesitating for a moment, he stood up like everyone else. When Yao Shengyu walked to the end of the long table and sat down, everyone also sat down again. Chu Han's heartbeat couldn't help speeding up. He heard from Shen Xingchen that his teacher, Yao Shengyu, was a rank 9 fortune teller, the servant of Tianyu. Moreover, his level has reached level 632, which can be said to be the ceiling of a rank 9 career. After a professional turns from 4, the difficulty of upgrading is greatly increased. Not to mention rank 9, almost every level is a new realm. I don't know if he can see through his true identity. The artifact necklace, or the 9-turn fortune teller, who is more powerful, Chu Han is really not sure. Under the tension, Chu Han couldn't help but glance at Yao Shengyu. He suddenly discovered that this shriveled-looking old man actually looked very much like the turtle master in a movie he had seen in his previous life, Kung Fu Panda. Puff! Chu Han almost burst out laughing, but he managed to hold back. Damn it, you can't laugh, you're dead if you smile.
But, he really seems to be. FK, don't look at it. Think of something else, Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties, never tire of seeing each other. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium and boron, odd changes and even changes. Damn it, it still seems, haha. I can't hold it anymore. Xingchen, what's wrong with you? Suddenly, Yao Shengyu spoke, his voice dry like a desert. Chu Han shivered and sat up straight. Damn, how should I answer? Single quote. How does old Shen usually call him? Master, teacher, or the president? Single quote.
Forget it, let's cover it. He calmed down and said softly, well, teacher. What teacher? Yao Shengyu yelled lightly, how many times have I said it, you have to be called at the meeting. Chu Han was stunned, and immediately came to his senses, and said again, President. Yao Shengyu gave him a meaningful look. I'm here today to confirm the candidate for the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony with everyone. What do you think? Yo! As soon as this was mentioned, Chu Han immediately felt relieved. President, I have a proposal. I recommend our new member, Chu Han. He is a rare talent. Sending him there will definitely make our spiritual cultivation church look good. What nonsense are you talking about? Yao Shengyu glared at Chu Han. Chu Han is already the default candidate. What else do you recommend? Are you confused? What I want to determine is the second choice. Is it Juniper or Ni Li? What the hell? By default. Chu Han's pupils widened. That old boy, Shen Xingchen, took the quota of the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony as a bait, and tricked himself into acting as his substitute. In the end, he was already the default candidate? Is there a truth in this bastard's mouth? Chu Han almost gritted his teeth, and said fiercely, anyone can go, I have no objection. Well, no matter, there is still time before the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony, let's discuss it later. Yao Shengyu Zan Weiwei stood up, Xingchen, come with me. After speaking, he walked out of the conference hall under the gaze of everyone. Looking at Yao Shengyu's back, Chu Han was puzzled for a while. This old man is also strange. Obviously, he came here for the selection of candidates, but he left again before the results came out. Are there any normal old men in this guild? Chu Han was speechless, so he had no choice but to follow his footsteps and leave the meeting hall. Along the way, Chu Han followed Yao Shengyu to the 7th floor of the church. There are obviously few people here, and even the light is much darker. Passing through the corridor covered with murals, Yao Shengyu led Chu Han into an attic. Call. The candlesticks were lit, making the room much brighter. Chu Han always felt that the place was gloomy, so he asked, "President, what did you bring me here for?" Yao Shengyu didn't rush to answer. He carefully clasped the candlestick with a glass lampshade, and the dancing flames illuminated his figure even more emaciated. After a long time, he turned his back to Chu Han and said, "Chu Han, do you desire power?" Chapter 87 The Real World. "No, I'm craving milk." Chu Han replied subconsciously, but suddenly woke up again. "You know who I am." Yao Shengyu turned around, standing against the light, hiding his expression in the shadow, full of mystery. No one can escape the eyes of top fortune tellers. He pointed to himself. Chu Han was even more puzzled. "Since you already know, why didn't you expose me in public?" Yao Shengyu took 2 steps closer. "Xingshan claims to be your master, so in this way, I am your master." "How can a master betray his grandson?" "Are you right, my good grandson?" Chu Han was speechless. Damn, did the old man take advantage of this? "The key is that I still can't refute it." He quickly changed the subject. "Then you brought me to this place, is it?"
Yao Shengyu smiled. "It's for the thing you want to know the most." Hearing this, Chu Han was slightly taken aback. "The thing I want to know the most. When will I be able to have wives and concubines?" Under the light of the candle, Yao Shengyu's facial muscles had an obvious twitch. He resisted the urge to curse, and said in a deep voice, "It's about your sister Chu Shi."
"Sister?" Chu Han's expression changed slightly, and he immediately stepped forward. "Do you know where my sister is?" "I don't know." Yao Shengyu smiled, "But I can know anytime." "I don't know, but I can always know." Hearing this, Chu Han was shocked. What an arrogant word. Such contemptuous eyes. Could this be the confidence of the strongest fortune teller? Really are, it's too dazzling. Under Chu Han's adoring eyes, Yao Shengyu returned to the candlestick and took off the lampshade. The light of the fire suddenly became scattered, covering the entire room. He retracted his right hand into his wide sleeve, grabbed a handful of black crystal powder, and sprinkled it around the candlestick. Then, sprinkle a larger ring of powdered pomegranate flower powder around the periphery. Then there are 17 kinds of divination materials such as yellow gallstone powder and crushed ostrich eggshells. After one round after another, strange ripples appeared around the candlestick. At this time, the candlelight began to become strange, emitting red, yellow and blue halos at the same time. Chu Han held his breath and watched carefully the operation of the strongest fortune teller. In his eyes, Yao Shengyu's movements seemed to have broken away from the category of skills. He is more like performing a real, mysterious and ancient, divination ritual. Wow! As Yao Shengyu muttered, the candlelight fell like water droplets and lit 17 circles on the table one by one. Then, he spread his right hand over the flame and let it bake his palm. Be careful. Chu Han subconsciously wanted to stop him, but immediately restrained himself. Soon, the flames rose. Yao Shengyu's palm was engulfed by flames. He half closed his eyes, flicked lightly, and flung the flames onto the wall behind the square table. Boom! The flames spread and invaded the wall in an instant. After all this was done, Yao Shengyu stood with his hands behind his back, looking up at the wall of fire, his eyes sparkling with light. Did you see it, Chu Han? This is Marshash's guidance. Chu Han scratched his head. Who is guiding me? One of the 12 main gods, the sun god Shamash, who is in charge of divination. God of the West? Chu Han looked at Yao Shengyu with interest. Why don't you invite the god of Dragon Kingdom? Every professional's growth path is different, and fortune tellers are no exception. And, Yao Shengyu frowned, is your focus biased? Don't you want to know the result of divination? I want to know. Chu Han turned his gaze back to the firewall, but here, there is nothing but flames, what can it see? Yao Shengyu shook his head frankly, I can't see anything. Chu Han. He seems to understand now why Shen Xingshan is so unreliable. It turns out that the source of heredity is here. What do you mean you can't see anything? Didn't you just say that nothing can escape the eyes of a top fortune teller? I bragged so much, I forgot it so quickly. Constantly complaining in his heart, Chu Han pointed to the flames on the wall, but, didn't you say that the sun god gave you guidance? Yao Shengyu nodded. If the fireworks don't go out, it means that your sister is still alive, and her vitality is very strong. Hearing this news, Chu Han's clenched heart seemed to loosen a little. I know she won't die. It's just. Yao Shengyu lowered his head and pondered, why can't I see any information about her? Could it be because of the flower demon on the other side? Chu Han's appetite was slackened, and he hurriedly urged, Master, what do you mean by that? The word, master, touched Yao Shengyu's heart. He smiled and looked at Chu Han, and explained carefully. This flower demon from the other shore is an ancient evil god with a very strong spiritual power. My divination doesn't work on it, that's normal. But now, I can't even see your sister's information, which means that she and the flower demon on the other side are probably still together. At the beginning, Chu Shi disappeared because she went to hunt the flower demon on the other side. During that battle, some unimaginable things might have happened. Chu Han felt heavy. Then how can I find her? Yao Shengyu looked at the wall of fire, then pointed to the bottom, where there was an undercurrent. Two words came out of his mouth. Under the sea. Under the sea. Chu Han repeated. Yes. Yao Shengyu nodded. The intersection of the undercurrent and the flames means that Chu Zai's breath of life is related to the bottom of the sea, and clues can be found there. Chu Han was still puzzled. The sea is vast in the world. Where should I find it? Yao Shengyu flicked his long sleeves and scattered the flames on the wall. Go to the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony. Maybe there will be an answer there. This is also the guidance of the sun god. No, this is my intuition as a top fortune teller. Chu Han stiffened, his fist hardened immediately. Master, can't you point out a clear path? Yao Shengyu showed a faint smile. Since ancient times, fortune tellers, whether they are charlatans who set up roadside stalls, or yin and yang masters who entered the royal family to deduce the fate of the country, they will not speak too clearly and straightforwardly about the results of fortune telling.
Chu Han asked, why? To put it bluntly, you must not reveal the secrets of the sky, but in fact, you just don't want to set a flag. Ambiguous words are our way of survival. Chu Han thought for a long time, and finally found a point of rebuttal. But you are not a fortune teller. You are a professional, a 9-rank fortune teller. Hey. Yao Shengyu smiled mysteriously, looked up at Chu Han.
Chu Han, you just changed your job not long ago. Maybe you don't understand many things yet. When you reach my level after rank 9, maybe you will be able to get a new understanding of this world. That's the most real world. Chapter 88 Dark Boss. That's all right. 9 turns. That is indeed a very desirable state. However, for Chu Han, it was still a bit far away. After all, he had just turned 4. Master, are you sure there will be clues about my sister in the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony? Yao Shengyu cleaned up the remnants of the divination ceremony and said, of course I'm not sure. There is no absolute thing in the world. Everything has variables, but because of this, our fate becomes interesting, isn't it? Chu Han doesn't care if there are interesting things, he only knows that he can't miss any hope. Okay, I will definitely go to this Zhenwu Grand Ceremony. Anyway, the original plan was to go, and Chu Han didn't have any worries. Since you have decided to go, you must get decent grades and don't embarrass me at the Spiritual Cultivation Church. Yao Shengyu paused. Of course, it's best to win the championship. I have to say that their prize money is quite generous. If you can get the bonus, you will share it with the guild. Chu Han was not happy at the time. Why am I only 70%?
Yao Shengyu stared. 70% belongs to the guild. You can only get 30%. Chu Han was a little astonished. Master, your image in my heart has always been that kind of worldly master full of immortality. But now it has suddenly become so mundane, it really is a split. No way. Yao Shengyu moved his shoulders. I also need money.
The spiritual practice church is huge, and the daily expenses are a lot of money. Do you think money will fall from the sky? Chu Han was stunned, spread his hands and said, okay, 30% is 30%, do as you say. Hearing this, Yao Shengyu suddenly laughed. Are you quite confident? Do you really think that if you go there, you will really get the ranking? The true martial ceremony will gather the best young people from all over the Dragon Kingdom, and if you pull out anyone, they're all top geniuses. Although I know you are not bad, but I have never seen you through, Master. Now, tell me, what level is your strength? What level? Chu Han fell into silence. It's not that he wants to hide something from Yao Shengyu, it's just that he can't tell what level he is now.
Judging from his strength on paper, he is a rookie who has just turned 4. However, it cannot be counted like this. With a forbidden curse on his side, and beheaded a rank 8 powerhouse, with such a solid record, how should strength be defined?
Just now Yao Shengyu said that after turning 9, one will enter a brand new world. People in that world, can they compete with it? It should, can it? Chu Han is still quite optimistic about himself. Even if you can't win easily, you can exchange your life with him with the samsara whispers, with all your strength. Yes, that's right. Chu Han looked at Yao Shengyu and said slowly, my strength. Under the 9th rank, I am invincible, and above the 9th rank, I will trade 1 for 1. Yao Shengyu. Crazy enough, boy, but if you go too far, I'm afraid it's not a good thing. You are invincible under the 9th rank, is this really true? Of course it's a lie. Your apprentice and grandson, I just turned 4, and I still have to rely on your master for your support, Chu Han said with a chuckle. False and true, you can guess for yourself. Yao Shengyu's expression changed again, and finally he sighed. Your shameless appearance has the charm of your master when he was young. Chu Han walked over to him with a playful smile and beat him on the back. Master, don't be too polite, bring out any good things. Ouch. Yao Shengyu made a comfortable voice. Yes, a little more sensible than your master.
Since you are so obedient, the master can't let you down. You were in the conference hall before, and asked them to help you find the 6th rank certificate, right? Don't bother, master will send you off. After speaking, Yao Shengyu gently spread his palms, and a small colorful book shone brightly. Props. Magic tome. Open black lens bracket level. ********** close black lens bracket. Introduction. Vocational 6-turn certificate of the mage department. Close black lens bracket.
Seeing this thing, Chu Han rushed over and grabbed it. Good guy, I'm only over 100 levels, yet I got the vouchers for rank 5 and rank 6 successively. With Shen Xingchen in front and Yao Shengyu now, these two old men are almost paving their way to the end. Is this what it feels like to gnaw on the old? It's so cool. Chu Han burst into tears, he really loves the old man to death. Master, is there a map with dense monsters near our church? I have to upgrade it quickly. After the excitement, Chu Han asked Yao Shengyu. I got the job transfer certificate, but the level is still a big problem. You don't need to go outside, there is a secret realm dedicated to leveling in the church, and the leveling speed is twice the result with half the effort. The entrance is just to the east of the Blessing Plaza, you can find it just by asking, and the conditions for entering the secret realm are very simple, you only need the guild contribution to reach the apprentice level 5. Ah, Chu Han was a little embarrassed, guild contribution? Since he joined the guild, he has never done a guild mission, if he guessed correctly. Really, he opened the guild panel and saw that behind his contribution level, it was clearly marked, Apprentice LV.0. Yao Shengyu's face turned dark. You kid didn't make any contribution to the guild, what's the use of you? You might as well raise a dog. Chu Han showed a worthless smile, and continued to beat him on the back. Master, there is a saying in my hometown, which is to help people to the end and send Buddha to the west. You must have a way to let me enter the secret realm, right? Ouch, Yao Shengyu felt comfortable again. It has to be said that Chu Han's massage techniques are really good. Alright, you take this. Yao Shengyu took out several silver medals. This is a contribution medal, which can be directly added to the contribution value, which is enough for you to be promoted to the 5th level of apprentice.
Immediately, he sighed again. There is also this skill book, which is for you, let's give it to you together now. Skill book. Chu Han's smile became stronger, today is really full of surprises. He quickly picked it up and checked the information. Gravity Black Hole, LV.160, 5th level skill, occupational restriction, mage.
This is a control skill. Yao Shengyu explained, before the departure ceremony for the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony, there will be an assessment for the 3 seated contestants. The location of the assessment is also the inner secret of our church, the Nether Tower. The assessment standard is to clear the 100th floor. The boss on the 100th floor is named Dark Soul Devourer. It is very difficult to fight, but it has a weakness, that is, it is afraid of control. So, if this skill book is given to you, it will be regarded as the master opening a back door for you. Dark Soul Devouring Beast. Chu Han muttered the name, is it? The boss of the Dark Department? Yao Shengyu nodded heavily, his expression became serious, yes. During the period before the assessment, you have to hurry up and level up. If you fail the assessment, you will be disqualified. Don't get kicked out without officially going out. My old face with your master, but please, don't make us ashamed. You have to practice hard on this gravity black hole, it will be an important means for you to defeat the boss. Remember, the dark bosses are very powerful and extremely difficult to deal with, so be careful when the time comes. Chu Han nodded, yes, the boss of the Dark Department is really too difficult to fight. He echoed, but the smile on his face grew brighter. Chapter 89 Endless Tide of Beasts, a boring road to upgrade. Okay, Master, you should rest, I'm going to level up. Chu Han originally wanted to dig out some more things, but after thinking about it, he couldn't squeeze the old man dry all at once. The future is long. Go. Yao Shengyu squinted his eyes with a kind expression. After Chu Han walked away, he slowly came out of the room and walked all the way to the activity hall in the middle of the 3rd floor. This is generally a place where young guild members gather, full of youthful vigor and restlessness. Yes, President. Seeing Yao Shengyu approaching, a group of young people immediately silenced and stood obediently in place. It's okay, you guys can play. Yao Shengyu looked around and found no one he was looking for, so he turned and left. When he walked up to the stairs covered with dark gray carpets, someone ran towards him and crashed into his arms. Ah, who is it? The man covered his sore nose, annoyed. And when he regained his sight and saw the person who collided with him clearly, he was shocked suddenly. Grandpa President? This young man is one of the candidates for the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony, Ni Li. At the same time, he is also the grandson of Ni Chen, the 2nd-generation elder of the Lingshou Church. That's why he called Yao Shengyu, Grandpa President. In the spiritual practice church, although the duties of the elders are the same, they are divided into several levels according to the depth of their qualifications. Among them, Shen Xingchen was the only one. Down below are the so-called 2nd-generation elders headed by Ni Chen. Seeing Ni Li, Yao Shengyu smiled slightly. Xiao Lizzie, is there something urgent to run so fast? Ni Li seemed to want to say something, but stopped talking. I know without telling you. Yao Shengyu looked calm, it's for the quota of the expedition, you want to go to your grandfather? Hearing this, Ni Li clenched his fists and lowered his head, his expression said it all. The candidate for the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony is limited to 2 years of awakening and job transfer, and he fully meets the requirements. In the spiritual church, considering his age and strength, there is no one more suitable than him. Unexpectedly, the number 1 seed was snatched away by Chu Han in the end. And he, Ni Li, was just a candidate. In this way, even if he is selected in the end, he can only be the 2nd seed at most. Number 1 and number 2 not only play different roles in the race, but more importantly, it represents the degree of recognition of others' own strength. Number 2 will always be overwhelmed by number 1. Ni Li refused to accept it at all. At this moment, Yao Shengyu shook his head and said, "Actually, I also don't understand, how can the Chu Han be the number 1 seed?" "What did you say?" Ni Li raised his head suddenly, his eyes full of disbelief. "But, isn't Chu Han the number 1 seed? To be honest, I really hate making appointments." Yao Shengyu sighed, "Even if there is an appointment, I think the number 1 seed should be you." Ni Li flashed light seriously. "Grandpa President, you." Yao Shengyu nodded. "That's right, the old man likes you. I support you to challenge Chu Han, defeat him, and regain your number 1 seed status." A blazing flame suddenly rose from his chest, and Ni Li's hands trembled with excitement. He never imagined that the supreme god in the spiritual practice church, his grandfather, the man standing on the top of the human ceiling. He had such high expectations of himself. That being the case, I must live up to it and let this expectation blossom and bear fruit. Grandpa President, thank you. I will not disappoint you in my grandfather's expectations. I will definitely challenge Chu Han and regain the number 1 seed. Go. Yao Shengyu continued to encourage, "I believe you can do it. Chu Han will appear in the career-changing temple in the near future. Go find him, and then defeat him."
Ni Li ran out of the church with great fighting spirit and determination to win. He is going to prove his strength. Watching the young man's back, Yao Shengyu walked upstairs with his hands behind his back. At the same time, he muttered, "Xiao Lizzie only has 6 ranks, which is still not enough. We need to find someone stronger to train that kid."
The Zhenwu Grand Ceremony is not a gathering of pustules. He must be familiarized with the fighting skills of various professions as soon as possible.
At the same time, Chu Han inquired all the way, walked through the blessing square, and finally arrived at the destination. At this moment, he finally felt that the headquarters of the spiritual practice church is really big. After searching for an hour, he finally came to the holy land of leveling that Yao Shengyu said. Mysterious land, endless island. Open black lens bracket. Your guild contribution level is not enough to enter. Please pay more attention to guild tasks and upgrade as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Almost forgot. Chu Han took out the contribution medals and used them all up. Open black lens bracket. Ding. Your guild contribution level has been upgraded to Apprentice LV.7.
Trying to enter again, Chu Han saw that the prompt panel had changed.
Please select the monster level. Open black lens bracket LV.100, LV.150. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket LV.150, LV.200. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket LV.400, LV.450. Close black lens bracket. Reminder. Each person can only enter the Endless Island once a day. Please choose the level carefully. Close black lens bracket. Looking at the level selection, Chu Han was slightly surprised. In this secret realm, people from level 100 to level 450 can choose suitable monsters. Without hesitation, he directly chose the highest level. Enter. Darkness struck, and Chu Han entered a secret realm.
After recovering his vision, he appeared on an isolated island. The surrounding visibility is only about 100 meters away, and further away, there is endless thick fog. System prompt. Monsters will continue to come from all directions. Please enjoy the thrill of hunting. Close black lens bracket.
Open black lens bracket 3. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket 2. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket 1. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Army attack. Close black lens bracket. Endless beast tide. This model, I like it. Chu Han waved his arm, pointed to the sky and shouted, "The end of the journey." Bang. The gray sky began to shake, and meteorite rain suddenly fell. Boom. Boom. As soon as the beast tide emerged, it was smashed to the ground. The meteorites were as dense as raindrops, covering every corner of the isolated island, and the wailing sounded one after another. You killed the giant Yaksha and gained 30,000 experience points. Close black lens bracket. You killed the frost evil dragon and gained 38,000 experience points. Close black lens bracket. The system prompts the screen to swipe rapidly, and Chu Han's experience bar also starts to rise at a constant speed. This time he deliberately didn't equip the ancient divine power, so as not to summon a bunch of wild boars out again, which is quite troublesome. But having said that, that piece of equipment has been useless for a long time, and has been eating ashes in the backpack. He stretched himself, found a big tree to lean against, and yawned comfortably. "Come out, little black." The black Pegasus appeared, stretched its wings and flew around, then landed beside Chu Han, obediently rubbing the horse's face against him. All right, what are you being coquettish about?"
Although Chu Han expressed disgust, he still stroked the horse's face carefully.
Xiao He was very happy and moved his ears. Chu Han had no choice but to rub the horse's ears again. Immediately afterwards, Xiao He blinked, and Chu Han stroked Ma's eyes. After playing with it for a while, Chu Han became sleepy. The meteorite rain at this time has reached the level of heavy rain, and the monster has died tragically in the mist before it even shows up. Occasionally, a few lucky ones could rush out, but they couldn't get close to Chu Han at all, and fell on the way to charge. Ha! Chu Han yawned, then pushed Xiao He away. Okay, you can play by yourself, I'll sleep for a while. Xiao He turned and left, trying to find some monsters to play with, but he couldn't lock the target at all. They die really fast. In desperation, it had no choice but to return to Chu Han's side, and fell asleep next to him.
That's all. One person, one horse, opened a strange and boring, but efficient upgrade road. Chapter 90. I've been squatting here with you for 2 days. After sleeping for an unknown amount of time, Chu Han woke up leisurely. The meteorite rain was still pouring down, and the wailing continued in the endless fog. Xiao He was still by his side, sleeping on all fours. He glanced at the time. It was now 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I have been in the secret realm for more than 8 hours. I don't know how many levels I have raised, Chu Han thought, and opened the attribute panel. Open black lens bracket. Chu Han close black lens bracket, occupation. Fallen Angel, turn 4, open black lens bracket level. LV.133 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket physique. 4826 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket power. 4120 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket wisdom. 6324 close black lens bracket open black lens bracket agility. 2646 close black lens bracket. Spirit. 5041. Combat power value. 184,216. In less than half a day, I went from level 109 to level 133, and the speed is not bad. And Xiao He also rose from level 80 to level 114. It's really a sacred place for leveling, Chu Han couldn't help admiring. In this endless island, secret realm, as long as you don't take the initiative to withdraw, monsters will continue to flow. Unfortunately, each person can only enter once a day. Chu Han touched his hungry stomach, and then remembered that he hadn't eaten all day. Although professionals have attribute bonuses, their physiques are different from ordinary people, and not eating for a few days will not affect their physical functions. However, the feeling of hunger is still there. After hesitating for a moment, Chu Han decided to continue killing monsters. He needs to be upgraded to level 160 to receive the 5th rank task, and he is still 27 levels away. You know, the higher the level, the more difficult it is to upgrade. Chu Han estimated that the remaining 27 levels would take more than a day. He doesn't want to waste time, so he lay down again, pulled out a grass and put it in his mouth. In the high-altitude sky, the meteorite rain still fell, creating a scene like the twilight of the gods. Chu Han was in a daze, wondering what he was thinking. Soon, the time came to midnight, and he rose to level 139.
Xiao He, let's go. Finally, after the hard work, Chu Han patted the horse's stomach, woke up Xiao He, and took it to the secret place. After being hungry all day, Chu Han flew out of the guild headquarters on Xiao He after he came out.
Finding a roadside stall that was still open, Chu Han ordered some fried skewers and ate them all. Ba ba. Xiao He watched from the side, his saliva was about to drip onto Chu Han's face. You want to eat too? Chu Han looked at it amusedly, then turned around and shouted, Boss, another 100 skewers of roasted vegetables. Okay. Hearing the boss's response, Xiao He flapped his wings excitedly, then ran to the side and came over with a case of beer.
Bang! It threw the beer on the table in front of Chu Han, shook its head constantly, and gestured frantically. You want to drink this? Chu Han was a little confused. Why does this guy still drink? Who did he learn from? The next step is not to smoke and burn your head, right? Seeing Xiao He's anticipation, Chu Han smiled, and didn't want to dampen his interest. Boss, I will lend you a basin. After saying hello to the boss, Chu Han came over with a basin, opened a dozen bottles of beer and poured them all in.
Xiao He was so excited that he plunged his long face into the basin at once. Gudong gudong. After taking a few sips happily, Xiao He hiccuped happily, then smiled at Chu Han with his big teeth bared, and continued to drink with his head down. At this time, the boss came over with a skewer. After seeing Xiao He, he was slightly startled, looked at Chu Han a few times, and asked. Oh, boy, are you the Dark Horse Prince who killed the hexagonal giant before? Chu Han was stunned for a moment, he didn't expect to be recognized here. Immediately, he nodded his head as an acknowledgement. There's nothing to hide either. In this deep-sea city, there are strong people like Clouds, although he has been in the limelight for a while, but he will not always be remembered by others. After all, there are people who show off every day, and I don't have the aura of a leading role, so I won't always attract the attention of others. So acknowledging this matter will not cause any inconvenience to myself. Hey, this big horse is really good.
The boss put down the roasted vegetables, touched the horse's back twice carefully, and went back satisfied, continuing to work on his own business. The streets at midnight are still full of traffic, with countless young people coming and going. The nightlife has just begun. Xiao He ate and drank, and immediately opened his belly, and swept away the food like a wind and a cloud. Belch. One person and one horse burped at the same time, and let out a satisfied breath. After paying the bill, Chu Han got on his horse and suddenly hesitated. The horse drank, but he didn't drink, so, is it considered drunk driving?
Shouldn't count. It doesn't matter, there is no air traffic police anyway. Chu Han drove Xiao He to fly in the direction of the spiritual church. It's a new day now, and the number of entries to the secret realm has also been refreshed. Coming to the entrance of Endless Island, again, Chu Han directly entered. This time he learned a lesson and prepared a lot of food in advance so as not to be hungry again. Next, he will rise to level 160 in one go. 36 hours later, Chu Han came out. After sleeping in the secret realm for a day and a half, he finally managed to reach level 160. I have to say, the skill of God's End is really comfortable. Upgrading while sleeping is the ultimate dream of many people. As long as conditions permit, Chu Han can even sleep up to rank 8 in this secret realm. Looking up at the sun, it was a little dazzling. Chu Han didn't delay much and went directly to the job transfer temple. Hello, accept the 5th rank mission. Entering the hall, Chu Han said straight to the point. The receptionist was no longer Song Ying, but a girl with short hair. PLZ follow me. This time, there were no complicated procedures, and there was no need to fill in the form. The receptionist led Chu Han directly to a side hall. The side hall where rank 5 missions are released is more luxurious and spacious than the one for rank 4. The only thing they have in common is that there is a circular stone platform in the very center of the room.
Chu Han went straight up and stepped on the stone platform with both feet. Hum. The stone platform trembled, and then a white mist slowly overflowed, forming words in the air. Chu Han, the current level is LV.160, and meets the requirements for rank 5, please submit the certificate for rank 5 of the mage profession. Close black lens bracket. Chu Han took out the mirror heart scepter, and Bai Wu immediately wrapped it up. Successfully submitted the job transfer certificate, starting to release the 5th job transfer task.
Published successfully, the mission map is Epic Road, close black lens bracket. There was still no task description, but Chu Han was used to it. According to experience, I need to reach the secret place to see the mission requirements. I hope it will be simpler this time, Chu Han thought. After all, he still has the certificate for the 6th rank, so he has to continue to upgrade and complete the 6th rank. Coming out of the job transfer temple, Chu Han opened the wicked navigation, ready to find the direction of the epic road. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared, blocking the way with a strange expression. Chu Han, you finally appeared. I've been squatting on you here for 2 days.
Chapter 91 Epic Road, a shameful 5th rank mission. Chu Han frowned slightly as he looked at the person who suddenly stood in front of him.
In an instant, his brain was running fast, and he began to recall who he had conflicted with. The man in front of him may have come to seek revenge. But soon, he denied this conjecture, because, from the current point of view, all the people who had enemies with him had accidentally died. The probability that this person is a revenge seeker is not very high. Who are you? It's useless to think too much, so Chu Han simply asked. Ni Li raised his arm, revealing a golden triangle mark. That is the symbol of the spiritual church. You are Chu Han, I have something to do with you. His expression was complicated, but what was revealed in his eyes was more fatigue and weakness. 2 days ago, after listening to Yao Shengyu's words, he ran directly to the job transfer temple to look for Chu Han, and has been squatting until now. During this period, he didn't sleep, and he didn't even eat a few bites. Bu's eyes were dim, for fear of missing Chu Han. Fortunately, he has waited for him, otherwise, whether he can persist until the expedition ceremony is a problem. Looking for me? Chu Han looked at his guild logo, as well as his crumbling and weak body, and probably understood something. Haven't eaten for a long time, would you like some of this? After all, they were members of the same guild. Chu Han took out the bread he bought when he was brushing the secret realm, and handed it over. What stuffing? Driven by hunger, Ni Li took the food.
The next moment, he reacted abruptly and threw it to the ground. I'm not here to beg for food. The purpose of my looking for you is to declare war on you. I want to challenge you and compete for the number 1 seed. Hearing this, Chu Han understood the purpose of this person's visit. He fixed his eyes and said in a deep voice, who told you to come?
You don't have to worry about it, you just need to tell me, do you dare to accept my challenge? Ni Li didn't dare to betray the chairman, so he prevaricated this question and tried to take Chu Han into his army first. Chu Han bent down, picked up the bread and wiped off the dirt on it. Why do you know me? He still did not respond to Ni Li's challenge. Ni Li shook the communicator in his hand. On the Dragon Country Professionals Forum, although the popularity of your posts has gone down, you can still be searched. Dragon Slaying Warrior, Baron Yuzhu, are you talking about you? There are photos and videos of you in it, 4K high definition uncensored. Thinking of the time when he killed the dark dragon, Chu Han couldn't help laughing. Did they make me look handsome? Ni Li thought for a moment, then seriously replied, it's okay to be honest, and you really look quite, no. Don't change the subject, answer me directly, dare to accept my challenge? Hunger and sleepiness affected the brain's thinking, and Ni Li was always distracted by Chu Han's leading the topic, which made him feel a little annoyed. Chu Han narrowed his eyes and stared at the other party, and said slowly, why did you come to challenge me, are you not convinced? That's right. Ni Li's voice raised a little, I just saw that the place you came out of is the side hall for the 5th rank mission. If you guessed right, you should have just completed rank 5, right? How can you be the number 1 seed with such strength? Since I changed my job, I have practiced my fighting skills day and night, and then desperately upgraded. Now I have reached the 7th rank, but you, a rank 5, snatched the number 1 seed. How can I be convinced? Hearing these words, Chu Han sneered, and then looked at Ni Li with great interest. Is this unacceptable? Then if I tell you that I haven't even completed the task of rank 5, so far it's only a rank 4, will you? Would you cry? Ni Li. What, you don't even have 5 ranks? Seemingly hearing the sound of the back molars being crushed, Ni Li clenched his fists tightly. That's right, it's a fake rank 4 player. Chu Han spread his hands. Why, do you still want to challenge me? A friendly reminder, it's not fair for me to hit you at the 7th rank at the 4th rank. Ni Li's expression changed again, and then he made up his mind. Of course I will continue to challenge. But you also said that this kind of battle is unfair, so I will wait for you for a day. In one day, you hurry to complete the 5th rank, let our strength be a little closer, and I will fight you again. Although that's still a bit unfair, I can't wait for you longer. After all, there are only a few days left for the expedition ceremony. You dare to fight? Shaking his head, Chu Han sighed helplessly. What I mean is, it's not fair to you if I hit you with 4 ranks and 7 ranks. How about you improve your strength and come to me again? Or consider the 2nd seed. Being humiliated in this way, Ni Li wanted to yell, but his throat was stuck. He gritted his teeth and pointed at Chu Han. Since you say that, I will take you as a challenger. At this time tomorrow, I'll be waiting for you in the battle room of the guild. I hope you have the courage to come. As you wish. Chu Han waved his hand, agreeing. After all, others have come to the door, so there is no need to hide.
In addition, he just took this opportunity to try out the level of these so-called young talents. Yao Shengyu said that the Zhengwu Grand Ceremony is so important, maybe he can really bring some surprises to himself. After leaving the job-changing temple, Chu Han went straight to the secret realm of the Epic Road. Open black lens bracket ding. The system prompts that the Epic Road belongs to the designated map of the 5th rank mission and can only be entered by a single person. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Do you want to enter? Close black lens bracket. Yes. Open black lens bracket. Your 5-stage mission instruction is being generated. Please wait. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket completed. Close black lens bracket. Task name. Epic long song. Task requirement 1. Sing along to the BGM throughout the whole process. God bless the dragon soul. Close black lens bracket. Task requirement 2. Clear the road to epic within the time limit of 1 song, and it will be considered a failure if the timeout expires. Close black lens bracket.
Sing along the whole time. Seeing these 4 words, Chu Han was immediately stunned. Of course he can sing the song, God Bless the Dragon Soul, which is the national anthem of the Dragon Kingdom. In the past at Maple Leaf College, he often sang, and Chu Han memorized it by heart. But what does it mean to sing along the whole time? Do you want to sing while fighting? He couldn't believe his eyes. Is the job transfer task so naughty? It's such a shame to be able to play. Although the song is a good song, quite inspiring. But you have to sing it while fighting. A bit perverted, right? It's so embarrassing. Well, although helpless, there is no way. Chu Han entered the secret realm. After the transition, what caught the eye was a long stone road. There is no fork in the stone road, and it leads to the end. Before Chu Han could think about it, majestic music suddenly sounded from the sky. He hurried forward. The moment he stepped on the stone path, monsters appeared from both sides. Purgatory natural disaster. The familiar fire-type forbidden curse was used, and the monsters on both sides were eliminated directly, and there was no obstacle on the stone road. And at this time, the prelude to the BGM is complete. Chu Han quickly opened his mouth and began to sing. The oath of the gods, the solemnity of the soul. Boom. The forbidden spell continued to be released, and the second wave of monsters was also cleaned up. Suddenly the system prompts, open black lens bracket. Your voice is too small, please sing loudly and full of emotion, close black lens bracket. Continuing to keep whispering will be regarded as mission failure, close black lens bracket. Chu Han. He took a deep breath. The dragon soul guides us forward. Boom. Playing and singing all the way, Chu Han gradually entered the state, full of strength and faith. Finally, halfway through the song, he saw the end of the stone road. That is the dawn of victory. Chapter 92. Go to the appointment, the battle for the number 1 seed. Stepping onto the end of the stone road, Chu Han immediately checked the progress of the mission. Task name. Epic Long Song. Task requirement 1. Sing along with the BGM throughout the whole process. God bless the dragon soul. Completed. Task requirement 2. Clear the epic road within 1 song. Timeout will be considered a failure. Completed. Call. Fortunately, there are no other troubles. Coming out of the secret realm, he returned to the job transfer temple and delivered the mission. Congratulations on completing the 5th mission. Close black lens bracket.
The dense fog was paved with words, and Chu Han's body flashed with brilliant light. He clicked on the properties panel. Open black lens bracket. Chu Han close black lens bracket. Occupation. Wei Yu mage 5th rank. Open black lens bracket level. LV.160 close black lens bracket. Physique. 8111. Open black lens bracket power. 7157 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket wisdom. 11384 close black lens bracket. Agility. 7347. Open black lens bracket spirit. 12912 close black lens bracket. Combat power value. 338,176. Skills. Surge of demonic spirits, Purgatory natural disaster, Crazy thunder of annihilation, source of all laws, emergence of blue sea, end of divine path, extraordinary understanding, wings of wind spirit, soul wrapping dance, heart of white Z, temple of light, autocratic domain, the whisper of reincarnation. Dragon soul saint cloth. You are in the state of holy dragon blessing, and are immune to death. Another qualitative leap. Chu Han had no time to be happy, so he rushed back to the church without stopping, and came to the entrance of the endless island again.
The last time I entered was in the early morning yesterday, and today's times were not consumed. Back in the secret realm, Chu Han released the end of the divine path, and was still lying under the tree, eating experience leisurely. After Xiao He was summoned, he also yawned and lay down beside him to sleep.
Chu Han looked a little bored and began to sort out the things in his backpack. Except for some equipment that has not yet been sold, there are 3 most important ones. One is the forbidden magic stone, which can bring you a second career prop. It requires level 300 to use.
There is another one, which is the skill book, Guardian Soul Seal, which is also level 300.
As for the third item, Chu Han took it out directly. This is the magic weapon that Master Yao Shengyu gave to him to defeat the Netherworld Tower boss, the skill book, Gravity Black Hole. The level requirement is level 160, which is just enough for Chu Han. I wonder what kind of forbidden spell it can be transformed into.
This was Chu Han's first time learning a 5th level skill, and to be honest, he was a little excited. He stretched out his right hand and printed it directly. Would you like to study Gravity Black Hole, close black lens bracket? Yes. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations on learning the skill. Gravity Black Hole, close black lens bracket.
The passive skill, Surge of Demonic Spirits, is triggered, and the skill, Gravity Black Hole, is replaced by the coming of the God King. Close black lens bracket. The arrival of the God King. Under the power of God, all living beings surrender. You can control all target creatures within the skill range. Close black lens bracket. FK. Seeing the skill introduction, Chu Han almost jumped up. Control all living things. What's this? Psychic forbidden spell. With this skill, no matter whether you are clearing a map or fighting in a group, you can turn the enemy camp into an allied force before it even starts. Chu Han just didn't know how the actual combat effect would be, and Chu Han felt itchy in his heart. Then, he stood up and stopped the God's End. At the same time, the wailing sounds in the fog also stopped. Chu Han walked forward for a while and stood quietly, waiting for the beast wave to attack. Boom, boom. Soon, waves of huge vibrations came from all directions.
Countless monsters rushed towards Chu Han with great force. After so many days, almost few of the animal horde could break out of the mist. Now, they finally saw this hateful human being, and they wanted to tear him apart. Boom. Boom. Finding the target, the beast horde continued to attack, rolling in with a power that shook the world. Chu Han stood proudly, chin slightly. When the beast's tide got closer, he suddenly raised his head. His gaze was like a torch. The God King is coming. Boom, a breathtaking aura burst out from Chu Han's body as if it had a substance, and spread loudly. The monster rushing to the front was immediately hit, and its murderous eyes suddenly changed. From vicious and violent, to dull and confused, and finally to worship. They looked at Chu Han, as if they were the most devout believers, seeing the gods they believed in. The young man exuding a majestic light all over his body seemed to be the supreme god who ruled all things in the world, making them feel surrendered. Boom. 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 The warcraft in front stagnated, and those following behind collided with it, and consecutive rear-end collisions occurred in an instant. Chu Han raised his head slowly, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. He looked at the monsters that had surrendered, and said softly, "Hey, go and kill them." Ahu. After being ordered by the supreme god, the magical beasts whose minds were affected by the God King's advent skill turned around one after another, aiming their fangs and giant horns at the endless wave of beasts behind them. The number of Warcraft layer far exceeded them, but they're fearless. For behind them stood their gods. They're fearless, they're loyal, they will give their lives to protect, and they will never back down. Roar. The monsters divided into two camps started an extremely bloody battle in an instant. Boom. Boom. Countless huge bodies collide, making a primitive and bloody impact sound. In an instant, flesh and blood flew everywhere. Even Xiao He became excited and agitated when he heard the movement, wishing he could join the fight. Chu Han stood behind and saw this scene, and laughed triumphantly. This skill is really perverted. Okay, the show is over. God's End. Re-release the forbidden curse of the earth element, and the meteorite rain falls again. The beast horde present turned into a mountain of corpses in an instant. Whether it was already controlled by Chu Han or appeared later, they were all killed. Chu Han didn't feel sorry for those monsters fighting for him, because he knew that as long as the control of skills failed, they would still point their fangs at him again. They are, in a very real sense, their own enemies. It's just that he was turned into a tool by himself. After the excitement, Chu Han stretched his waist and continued to sleep. The meteorite rain continued to fall, and the boring upgrade road restarted. After a whole day in a daze, at noon the next day, Chu Han reached level 171, and his speed was getting slower and slower. Of course, it was mainly because of the leg pendant Xiao He, which took away half of the experience. After getting up and stretching his muscles, Chu Han took Xiao He back into the beast space, and then exited the secret realm. He has not forgotten the previous appointment with Ni Li, and now the time has come. After coming out, Chu Han inquired all the way, and walked towards the battle room. At this time, the surrounding area of the main arena in the battle room was already full of people. Chu Han still dared to come. What time is it? That's right, if you don't dare to come, just say it directly, don't let us wait for a long time. Hey, it doesn't matter whether he comes or not, the result is the same anyway. Haha, that's right. Ni Li is the strongest fighter among the younger generation of our spiritual cultivation church, how could he lose? I don't know how the elders made the decision to make Chu Han the #1 seed. I heard that he has just passed the 5th rank. Isn't this embarrassing to our guild by going to the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony? There must be something shady. That kid might be trying to curry favor with Elder Shen. Hush, stop talking. Look, Chu Han is here. Chapter 93 Instant Kill, 7th level Blood Warrior. Spiritual Church Headquarters. The sound of hurried footsteps came, and the elder Lu Hongwei hurried to the battle room with the cadres. What nonsense. Even if they have any objections to the number of expeditions, they can still ask the elders, how can they duel in private? Hurry up and stop them. Lu Hongwei had an angry look on his face. Ever since he heard that Ni Li was going to duel with Chu Han in the guild, he led people directly to the battle room. Elder Lu. At this time, a cadre who was a deacon caught up. What are you doing to stop me? Lu Hongwei put on a dark face, and waved the person in front of him away. The deacon hurriedly took another step forward. Elder Lu, the president asked me to come. He has an order to order all the cadres to go to the meeting hall immediately. There must be no mistakes. What? Lu Hongwei's complexion changed. At this juncture, he asked himself to go back. It seemed that the chairman's intention was obvious, that is, not to let him stop the duel. What's the situation? Although he couldn't tell what the president was thinking, since the order came, he didn't dare to disobey it. Go to the meeting hall. Following his order, all the people he brought back followed the same path and walked in another direction. Pushing open the metal door of the meeting room, a group of people filed in. At the long table of the meeting, there are already 2 people sitting. One of them is the president Yao Shengyu. The other one is Ni Li's grandfather, Ni Chen, the 2nd generation elder. There are quite a few people, let's all sit down. Yao Shengyu saw people coming in, and pointed to the chairs beside the table. After everyone sat down, Yao Shengyu continued. I called everyone here today. I don't mean anything else. It's just that I haven't seen you for a long time. Let's chat casually, don't be nervous, just be casual. Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay, not knowing what the president meant. Lu Hongwei hesitated for a moment, and couldn't help asking, President, please don't go around the bush.
I'm sure you know about those kids messing around, why don't you let me stop it? It's okay. Yao Shengyu took a sip of tea. Young people, you just need to be more aggressive. If you don't have a little bit of edge, I'm afraid this true martial arts ceremony will be in vain. But, Lu Hongwei still seemed a little worried.
He has always acted prudently, adhering to the principle of no rule, no circle, so he naturally didn't want Ni Li and the others messing around. Yao Shengyu interrupted him. Old Lu, you don't have to worry too much. There is a blessing barrier guarding the arena in the battle room, which is immune to all deaths and will not kill anyone. Hearing this, Elder Lu was speechless. He didn't expect that President Yao's requirements for guild members would be so low. Can it be done without killing people? What is the bottom line? Seeing that he was still worried, Yao Shengyu smiled. How about this, Shi Dian, Fanjia, you take some cadres to the war room to keep an eye on. Don't let those little guys make too much noise. In the spiritual practice church, under the president and elders, there are a series of cadre positions such as deacon, hallmaster, dharma protector, standard bearer, and captain. In each level, Yao Shengyu ordered someone to watch. Oh, by the way, I heard that young man named Chu Han is crazy in the guild. If Ni Li loses to him, you can educate the old man so that he will not be too arrogant. Hey. After explaining, Yao Shengyu let them go. Battle room. Chu Han looked calm, and slowly walked onto the ring under the gaze of everyone. Is this the legendary Chu Han? It seems pretty average, nothing special except being handsome. It should be a bit extraordinary. I heard that when he was in Zhongling City, he killed an old evil god. I know, isn't it just a weak version of the Dark Sky Dragon? Yes, this kid is quite arrogant, and he dares to challenge. Haha, people from a small place are just ignorant. He may not know that Ni Li has already reached rank 7 at the age of 19, and he is a very powerful blood warrior. There is basically no suspense in this battle. Ni Li has secured the number 1 seed. I'm just afraid that this kid won't admit his defeat even if he loses. He was personally recruited into the guild by Elder Shen, so he probably has an unusual status. HMPH, it doesn't matter. If he doesn't admit it when the time comes, we will join forces to force him to have a concubine. We must allocate the quota. As the crowd in the auditorium became noisy, the atmosphere at the scene began to become heated. Almost everyone believed that Ni Li would definitely win. Occasionally, a few people who were optimistic about Chu Han wanted to speak out, but they were immediately suppressed by angry curses. You finally came. Ni Li also walked onto the ring and stood opposite Chu Han. For this battle, he specially put on the ancient god suit, which was his strongest piece of equipment. He also understands the principle of lion fighting rabbit. Although Ni Li is sure of winning in 7 turns and 5 turns, he will not underestimate his opponent. Chu Han had no expression on his face and responded calmly. Although I'm a little embarrassed to be late, I won't show mercy. Let's get started. As soon as Chu Han finished speaking, a transparent protective barrier rose up on the arena. This is what Yao Shengyu calls the blessing barrier. It can isolate skills, prevent accidental injuries to the audience, and also prevent people outside from interfering with the competition in the ring. More importantly, when a person in the barrier receives a fatal blow, it will produce a protective mechanism to help them become immune to death, leaving a drop of blood behind. After all, it just provides a place for people to discuss, that's all. Come on Ni Li. Show this kid some color. That's right, but you have to be merciful. Don't kill him immediately. Give this country bumpkin some face. Don't let people say that we in Shanghai City bully outsiders. The atmosphere at the scene was extremely heated. At this time, a small group of people quietly walked in and stood at the edge of the auditorium to carefully watch the situation on the ring. When Ni Li heard the shouting below, he couldn't help but frowned, obviously unhappy. He usually hates regional discrimination, especially those who discriminate against outsiders and think they are superior. However, he can't control that much now. I'm on it. With a loud shout, Ni Li's arms glowed scarlet, like a demon. The Bloodborne Devil's Claw can bring him extremely terrifying attribute increases. It can be said to be his signature killer weapon. With this move, he once won the championship in the Shanghai City Youth Competition and defeated countless opponents of the same age group. Even when you encounter a slightly weaker level 8 player, you can give them a try. Facing rank 5 Chu Han at this time, he didn't think he had any chance of losing. Wow. Here comes the Vampire Claw. Oh my god, Ni Li really didn't leave any chance to the opponent. He wanted to kill Chu Han instantly. Come on, Ni Li. I was defeated by this move back then. Let me see its elegance again.
Woohoo. Amidst the cheers from the audience, Ni Li suddenly took action, and his body ejected like a cannonball. He didn't hesitate at all, and with his sharp claws glowing with a cold blue light, he accurately attacked Chu Han's vitals. Swish. His body brought up a strong wind, which was as powerful as breaking a bamboo, which was shocking. Dictatorship Field. Just when everyone thought Chu Han was scared to death, he took action. The ice forbidden spell suddenly exploded, freezing Ni Li into an ice sculpture, allowing him to still maintain his sprinting posture.
Nirvana Thunder. The next moment, the forbidden thunder curse fell from the sky, and the majestic thunder dragon fell and hit Ni Li's head.
Under countless shocked and frightened eyes, the 7th level blood warrior was killed in an instant. Chapter 94. Don't be silly, let's come up together. There was silence in the battle room. The scene that just happened had such a strong impact on the people present. This has completely exceeded their ability to accept. A 7th level blood warrior, with high attack power and thick blood, coupled with the bonus of the vampire claws, the attributes are simply explosive. However, he was actually defeated by a mage who had just reached level 5. This Chu Han, does he still belong to the category of human beings? All go. What happened? Then what the hell is Chu Han doing? Isn't mage the most rubbish profession? He can actually defeat Ni Li in seconds.
Could it be that there really are no garbage professions, only garbage job changers? It must be a coincidence. Ni Li may just be restrained by the thunder attribute. Are you right? A group of people turned green, and kept trying to comfort themselves. Chu Han was not that strong, and being able to defeat Ni Li was just opportunistic. At this time, under the ring, Ni Li had been teleported out. He only had 1 drop of blood left, a complete loss. What's wrong with me? He clearly has a chance to win. Just half a second later, his sharp claws can pierce Chu Han's vitals.
But why? Why? The one who was sentenced to teleportation turned out to be himself. Chu Han, what on earth did he do? As the strongest young genius of the younger generation in the spiritual cult church, he simply cannot accept such an ending. Could it be that this is why Chu Han became the #1 seed? Is this the gap between me and Chu Han? For a moment, Ni Li saw in a trance that there was a gap between himself and Chu Han. That is an insurmountable chasm. His chest felt like a huge boulder was pressing down on him. Ni Li's breathing became extremely heavy and he felt discouraged.
You lose. Chu Han slowly walked down the ring, looked at Ni Li calmly, and said softly. Then, he walked towards the battle room. He still wants to continue upgrading and is too lazy to waste time here. Ni Li's face was burning, as if he had been slapped hard. He lowered his head and avoided Chu Han's gaze. When the others saw that Chu Han was about to leave, they naturally did not dare to say anything and just watched in whispers. Etc. Suddenly, someone stood up and called Chu Han to stop. Are you leaving just like that? As the captain, Chai Jungyang looked proud and blocked Chu Han's way. What are you doing? Chu Han looked over. It's nothing. Chai Jungyang said with a smile, I just want to test the strength of the #1 seed.
Chu Han, I know you have something on you, but you can be the #1 seed by default, but it's because you climbed the big tree of Elder Shen, and everyone knows it well. Since you like to make a name for yourself by suppressing others so much, why don't I come and play with you? How about it? Do you dare to play with me again? Oh, come on. Chu Han's eyes remained calm as he returned to the ring. Seeing Chu Han's reaction, Chai Jungyang was slightly startled, and then his expression turned ferocious. HMPH, it's the president who asked us to teach you a lesson anyway, so don't blame me for being cruel. Single quote. With this thought in his mind, Chai Jungyang also jumped onto the ring. Great, captain-level cadres took action. Chu Han is out of luck now. If he offends Captain Chai, he will suffer the consequences.
No, is this Chu Han crazy? Does he dare to accept this kind of battle? Does he really think he is invincible? He can beat Ni Li. I admit that I underestimated him before, but Chai Jungyang is a cadre and is much better than Ni Li. I think Chu Han is going to fall. Sigh. Pride is the biggest enemy. It would be good to let Chu Han have a long memory. Comments continued in the audience, but it was obvious that people were not as hostile as before when talking about Chu Han. After all, people have a strong admiration mentality. Just now, when Chu Han became a blockbuster and showed his strength, they also changed their minds about it. Now in the battle with Chai Jungyang, they even started to worry about Chu Han. Hey, Chu Han, although I am also rank 7, I am 20 levels higher than Ni Li, and my strength is incomparable. But you can't say that I bully the small with the big, after all, you challenged yourself, and I didn't force you. Wait a minute if you... Click, boom. The thunder-type forbidden spell landed with a crash, hitting the chattering Chai Jungyang on the head. Before he could finish his sentence, the blood bar was emptied, and he was sent to the ring with the last drop of blood. If you lose, you have to admit it. After murmuring the last half of the sentence, Chai Jungyang was completely confused. What the hell? He was sent out directly before he finished speaking.
It's over before I even started. Wow. Seeing this scene, the audience burst into shocking uproar. Wrong day. More and more outrageous every time. Before, Ni Li had to play a handsome game before being defeated.
And Chai Jungyang didn't even make a move, so the game was over? He didn't even last 5 seconds. This Chu Han's strength, how terrifying is it? It's true that they are different. You are far worse than Ni Li. Chu Han simply mocked and turned to leave. This time, Song Shang, the flag bearer, stood up. He stood on the ring and said loudly. It's my turn this time, I've been waiting for a long time. Chu Han, come and fight me. Hearing the shout, Chu Han looked back. At the same time, the audience also burst into exclamations. I really came to the right place today, one good show after another. First it was Ni Li, then Chai Jungyang, now, even flag-bearer level cadres have to challenge Chu Han. It seemed that Chu Han was the unrivaled powerful demon king, facing waves of warriors coming to challenge him. This is equivalent to watching a simplified version of the Zhenwu ceremony in advance. Come on Chu Han. Accept his challenge, yes, let's show them our strength again. This time, some people began to cheer for Chu Han. Although there were not many people, they were able to form a small force and act as a cheerleading team. In just 2 battles, Chu Han gained a small number of fans. Song Shang is thin and gentle looking, and wears a pair of glasses with thick bottle bottoms. He stood on the ring with a high-spirited attitude. Chu Han was a little surprised. When did he become so popular? Are these people also trying to compete for the #1 seed? No, these guys can tell at a glance that they are quite old. The requirement to participate in the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony is that they must change jobs within 2 years. This is a hard condition. It was obviously impossible for Chai Zhengyang and Song Shang to go. Thinking of this, Chu Han raised his eyes and looked up. At this time, he found a group of people standing next to the audience in the battle room. Like Song Shang, they were all gearing up and eager to try. Chu Han frowned. They seem to be waiting in line to F*K themselves? If Song Shang is defeated later, they should continue to challenge. But I have no enmity with them, and we don't even know each other. Why is this happening? The more he thought about it, the more something was wrong. Chu Han vaguely felt that he had fallen into someone's trap, but he didn't have a clear idea. There is definitely something fishy in this. Who is digging a hole for himself? Chu Han frowned and thought. Hey, Chu Han, do you dare to come? Seeing Chu Han standing still, Song Shang urged. Chu Han came back to his senses, put these thoughts aside and returned to the ring. However, he ignored Song Shang, but faced all the people below and shouted in a deep voice. Who among you is dissatisfied with me and wants to challenge me? Stop nagging and come up together. Chapter 95. God King comes, kneel down. Wow. Another sensation broke out of the scene. This Chu Han is really crazy. Single-handedly and immediately, proudly standing in front of thousands of people without changing his face, this is the style of a general. Although there are not 10,000 people in the battle room, there are still hundreds of people. Chu Han dared to say this in front of everyone, obviously because he had absolute confidence in his own strength. It seems that it is too early to worship him now. I don't know what kind of surprises he will bring next. A group of people's eyes lit up, and they began to look forward to the subsequent development of the matter. HMPH, why are you pretending to be cool? I'll do it. Some people like it, some people hate it. Soon, more than a dozen people jumped onto the ring and stood around Chu Han. The leader appeared, and more people followed. It didn't take long before the ring was filled with people. Including those cadres sent by Yao Shengyu also stood up. Anyway, the president wanted him to teach Chu Han a lesson, but he didn't say how. Although group fighting is a bit immoral, this is what Chu Han himself asked for. This was the first time they had seen such a request. The people below carefully counted many times. Including Chu Han, there were a total of 144 people standing in the ring at this time. In other words, the current situation is that Chu Han won hit 143. Although the arena is not small, it seems a bit crowded with more than 100 people standing on it. However, they had no intention of coming down. They even felt that there were not enough people, so they kept calling people up. But the effect was average. No one licked their faces and stood up anymore. 143 is already very embarrassing. Anyone with a thin skin can't stand on it. Can we start? Chu Han stood in the middle, looked at the people standing around him, and said coldly. Can. Among the 143 people, Dao Yu had the highest position. As a deacon, he pulled everyone into the team and then faced Chu Han. For the sake of fairness, you go first. Haha. Hearing this, Chu Han couldn't help laughing. You understand fairness. Being ridiculed by Chu Han, Dao Yu felt a little embarrassed. Chu Han, it's your own request that we use more to defeat less. You can't blame us. No, I have to thank you for saving me time like this. Chu Han said lightly. However, I don't like to make the first move, so you should go first. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other. Damn, it's so rampant. It seems that the president's decision is right. This kid really needs a good education. Okay, then we're not going to be polite. After Dao Yu finished speaking, he waved his hand to let everyone disperse as much as possible. In this way, they can release skills from all directions, and the chance of hitting will be greatly improved. Moreover, Chu Han is a mage, and they are all large-scale group skills, and spreading them can reduce casualties. Dragon Impact, Soul Raid, Qinghui Yening. Numerous skills burst out at the same time, attacking the only target in the arena. Chu Han stood alone. The dragon soul cloth fluttered in the wind, and the hem of the clothes fluttered. When those people came attacking and approached him, he suddenly activated his skills. God King comes. In an instant, the frightening power and influence are unparalleled, turning into entities and swaying. Chu Han's eyes were like torches, as if he had transformed himself into the king of the gods. His voice was like a bell, and he roared proudly. Kneel down. Chamber. Although the chairs were full of people, it was surprisingly quiet. Yao Shengyu didn't intend to say anything, but just sipped the fragrant tea, leisurely and contentedly. Anyway, he left the elders here because he didn't want them to go to the battle room. These old stubborns always like to interfere in the affairs of young people with rules and regulations. Very boring. Squeak, the door of the conference hall was pushed open, and a deacon-level cadre walked in and whispered a few words beside Lu Hongwei. What? After listening, Lu Hongwei was amazed. He waved the deacon back, then stood up and walked to Yao Shengyu. President, things are getting serious in the battle room. Do you really not care? Haha, calm down. Yao Shengyu filled another cup of tea. It's just a bunch of kids. How big a fuss can they make, and can they overthrow the spiritual cultivation church? By the way, who won, Chu Han or Ni Li? Lu Hongwei glanced at Ni Chen next to him and pursed his lips. Chu Han won. However, after he won, it seems that more people want to challenge him, and now the situation is out of control. Yao Shengyu acted calmly. It doesn't matter. It's not a bad thing to let them learn from each other. As you just saw, those people were sent by me, and they will know how to handle it. You know nothing. Those people are just sent by me to feed Chu Han. Their role is to provide Chu Han with combat experience. Just have to fight. Lu Hongwei became even more anxious. President, they may not be able to grasp this measure. There are more than 100 people in the ring now. Chu Han seems to have aroused everyone's anger. Now he is fighting against 143 people at the same time. Snap. The teacup in his hand fell to the table, and Yao Shengyu's expression froze. Oh, it's too much. President, let me go. Otherwise these children will really cause trouble, Lu Hongwei requested again. Yao Shengyu waved his hand. I'll go in person. After saying that, he stood up suddenly, took one step and disappeared, and appeared outside the church the next moment. He displays the ability to shrink to an inch and can reach 100 meters with each step.
At this time, Yao Shengyu was indeed a little panicked. He originally wanted Chu Han to accumulate more combat experience, but being besieged by more than 100 people at this time was completely unexpected. What's more, there are deacon-level cadres among them. Since it was Dao Yu who had already reached rank 8, Chu Han would probably suffer some losses in a single fight with him, let alone a group fight. Although no one will die in the ring, these young people can do anything at the top. If the grudges extend outside the ring, big trouble will happen. The more he thought like this, the more panicked Yao Shengyu became. In order to save Chu Han, he speeded up and reached the battle room in less than 20 seconds. Boom. As soon as he entered, Yao Shengyu felt a powerful burst of spiritual power and had to resist with all his strength. What kind of power is this? His heart tightened and he quickly looked ahead.
I saw that the arena was crowded with people and it was a mess. But the strange thing is that Chu Han is the only one standing at this time. His more than 100 opponents either knelt on their knees or prostrated themselves on the ground. They worshipped Chu Han with great piety, as if they were worshipping the god of all living beings. Seeing such a weird and strange scene, Yao Shengyu was slightly shocked, but he quickly recovered. Chu Han, he is indeed the chosen son of the Dragon Kingdom, and the surprise he has brought to him is far beyond his imagination. After taking a deep look at Chu Han, Yao Shengyu smiled knowingly, then turned and left. Chapter 96. Work hard to level up and prepare for the 6th rank mission. In the battle room, although it was full of people, it was quiet to hear a needle drop. On the ring, Chu Han stood proudly, like an immortal from the 9 heavens stepping on the moon, despising all mortal things. Those people who were originally aggressive and wanted to knock down Chu Han all surrendered at this moment and knelt down to the ground. Their souls seemed to be invaded by some kind of strange energy, making their bodies uncontrollable and unable to resist Chu Han's orders at all. When Chu Han said to kneel down, they knelt down, and their execution ability was comparable to that of the Dragon Kingdom border army guarding all directions. Even with the protection of the blessing barrier, the audience outside the arena were more or less shocked and their hearts trembled. In the eyes of everyone, there is an indescribable aura in Chu Han's body at this time, which is daunting. After subduing everyone with one move, Chu Han slowly looked around. Wherever they looked, everyone bowed their heads in silence, and avoided Chu Han's eyes, as if endless sharp blades could shoot out of his eyes, breathtaking. Seeing this result, Chu Han was very satisfied. He stepped off the ring, and gradually walked away under the horrified gaze of everyone. After Chu Han disappeared outside the door, the people who stayed in the battle room dared to take a big breath. The coercion just now condensed the air into a solid, constantly squeezing everyone, making it difficult for them to breathe smoothly. He's really a monster, someone sighed, but they couldn't find any adjectives to express their inner fear. Mage, the profession recognized by the Dragon Kingdom as the most difficult to develop, has been brought up to this point by Chu Han. What did he go through? With the example of Shen Xingchen here, everyone understands that not all mages are useless. But Chu Han, he's only under 20 years old. This kind of cognitive impact is even more shocking than Shen Xingchen's. Some people even believe that when Chu Han lived to Shen Xingchen's age, he would definitely be able to surpass him. Ni Li was sitting in a corner, his fists clenched, his nails digging into his flesh. When he lost to Chu Han at the beginning, he was still unwilling, thinking that he was too careless to cause the defeat. But later, he witnessed with his own eyes that Chu Han defeated 100 with 1. And, with a speed faster than defeating yourself, you can subdue everyone in the blink of an eye. It was only then that Ni Li realized how insignificant his own strength was in front of Chu Han. Just like a clown. If people like Chu Han can participate in the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony, then is there any need for me to fight for a place? He can't help but fall into deep self-doubt and denial. After leaving those people behind, Chu Han returned to the Endless Island.
Now regarding his number 1 seed status, presumably no one will have any objections anymore. Therefore, Chu Han's next goal is to continue to upgrade.
The 6th rank voucher has been obtained, and he wants to rise to level 240 as soon as possible to complete the 6th rank. The Zhenwu Grand Ceremony is about to start, and Chu Han must be prepared. Although he has absolute confidence in the competition itself, he understands that he may face some unknown things. Zhenwu Grand Ceremony, under the sea. These are the 2 clues Yao Shengyu provided him. Follow this direction and you will be able to find her sister. Seabed, Chu Han lay casually on the grass, looking up at the sky and whispering. He thought for a long time, but he didn't understand what these 2 words meant. Whether it is a literal meaning or a metaphor for something else, Chu Han does not know. But no matter what, he has to follow this clue, which is his only current direction. At the same time, Dongzhou City, Guling Mountain. A square arena with a length of about 100 meters has been built and stands on the top of the mountain. In the 4 corners of the arena, a gem of a strange color is inlaid, emitting brilliant light. The 4 gemstones echoed each other from a distance, forming a magic circle on the ring, looming. This is the place where the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony is held. Not far from the main arena, there are 4 sub-arenas. The secondary arena is smaller, but the material and design are similar. There are 5 arenas, big and small, lying there quietly with the mountain wind blowing. In a few days, they will usher in the annual National Grand Ceremony. At this time, halfway up the mountain, on an ancient tree with dense branches and leaves, a woman sat on a branch and looked up. Her long hair was tied up in a simple ponytail, making her look very neat and tidy. Her tights and the high heels on her feet are all red like blood, which is full of publicity. Is it really just the 2 of us in this operation? The woman in red said softly, and her 2 slender legs hung straight down, shaking in midair. After her words fell, the dense leaves beside her made a rustling sound. A woman who was about the same age as her but with a completely different temperament appeared. This woman was dressed in black, with a gloomy complexion, standing on a branch, hiding her figure among the branches and leaves. We are just the first group, and the president will continue to send people later. The red-clothed woman's eyes lit up when she heard the words, and she asked expectantly, will Mr. Zhaolin come? The woman in black shook her head. Our task is to find 100 transferees under the age of 20 and bring them back to the Sakura Kingdom. And, it must be brought back alive. If Kobayashi Jiro is a devilish bloodthirsty person, if he comes, we can only take 100 corpses back. Hearing this, the woman in red giggled, as if she had heard a very good joke. After laughing enough, she stretched her hands and stood on the branch, standing side by side with the woman in black. Liking to kill is just a little hobby of Mr. Zhaolin, but he is a person who wants to do great things. Awakening Yamada no Orochi, what a great cause, in my eyes, only Kobayashi-kun can do it. Mentioning this, the woman in black said in a cold tone, it's not awakening, it's resurrection. Yamada no Orochi is not sleeping, but has been killed. Their delusional attempt to resurrect the dead old evil god is simply a dream. No, that's not the case. The red-clothed woman interrupted her with a crazy smile. I believe Mr. Shaolin, he will definitely be able to do it. Must be able to. As she spoke, she suddenly became agitated, and her breathing began to intensify. Her chest was constantly rising and falling, and on the exposed snow-white skin, there was a very eye-catching pink cherry blossom. That is the exclusive logo of the Holy Cherry Club. Time flies, and 4 days have passed in a blink of an eye. Chu Han fell into a dark sleep in the secret realm. In the past few days, he only ate and slept, and he seemed to have gained a few caddies. Of course, the level has also improved a lot. This time he didn't let Xiao He out. Without that vampire, Chu Han had exclusive experience and directly rose to level 240. You can take the mission of the 6th rank. Chu Han was so excited that he hurried to the exit of the secret realm. After staying for so long, it felt like he was in jail. He almost vomited. He escaped without stopping, but it was already dark outside. Anyway, the job transfer temple is open all day long.
Chu Han didn't want to waste time, so he was going to pick up the rank 6 mission now. Chapter 97. The road to growth is long and difficult. The spiritual practice church under the night is extremely quiet, and the location of the endless island is relatively remote. A sense of loneliness lingers. As Chu Han walked forward, he suddenly saw a familiar thin figure slowly approaching from the darkness. Master. After seeing the man's face clearly, Chu Han was puzzled. The visitor turned out to be Yao Shengyu. What was he doing here? Did he come here specially to find him? How about it? Isn't the upgrade efficiency of this secret realm pretty good? Yao Shengyu said with a hoarse voice.
Chu Han walked up to face him, nodded and said, it's really good, you'll be level 240 when you wake up. Can you turn 6? Yao Shengyu was relieved and slightly surprised. This upgrade speed is indeed beyond his imagination. However, if the object is Chu Han, everything seems normal again. The scene he saw in the battle room earlier gave him a deeper understanding of Chu Han. Yes, it can turn 6. Chu Han pretended to be annoyed. Hey, I'm having a headache right now. What can I do after the 6th rank? I don't even know where to find the certificate for the 7th rank. Facing his crazy suggestion, Yao Shengyu chuckled and ignored it. Tomorrow morning is the expedition assessment. Be prepared. The difficulty of the Nether Tower is not comparable to that of the Endless Island. So fast? Chu Han said subconsciously. Oh yes, several days have passed. He had retreated in the secret realm for so many days, and when he came out suddenly, he had the illusion of traveling through time and space. Okay, I'll be there on time. Chu Han agreed. Afterwards, the old and the young chatted casually for a few words, and then went back separately. With only one night left, Chu Han simply didn't go to accept the mission of the 6th rank, and it would not be too late to go after finishing the Nether Tower. At night, he still rested in Shen Xingquan's room. The stars outside the window are dotted, and a full moon hangs in the sky, bright as a mirror. In another room, there was also an old man and a young man, who seemed to be arguing about something. Isn't it just that I lost to that Chu Han once? As for being so discouraged? Ni Chen looked at his grandson, Ni Li, with a look of resentment.
Ni Li curled up on the sofa, his whole body lost its sharpness, like a defeated rooster. In the past few days, the 3 quotas for the Zhengwu Grand Ceremony have been confirmed. The first seed Chu Han, the second seed Ni Li, and the third seed Jun Song, the 3 of them will represent the Shuling Church. However, the disheartened Ni Li flinched and didn't want to participate in the Zhengwu Grand Ceremony, which made Ni Chen very angry. Listening to Grandpa's questioning, Ni Li didn't say a word. Seeing his sluggish look, Ni Chen also felt a little distressed, and his attitude eased. What are you worried about? As long as you get the results in the race, who cares what seed you are? Besides, there is the final test tomorrow. As long as you perform better than Chu Han in the Nether Tower, Grandpa may be able to make a deal out of it and give you the number 1 seed back. Hearing this, Ni Li smiled bitterly. How could I be better than him?
Things that will only grow other people's ambitions, Ni Chen cursed helplessly. Immediately, he spread out his palm and revealed a skill book that was shining with brown light. Didn't you want to ask me for this, Soul Slayer Fist, for a long time? Grandpa will give it to you now? This is a 7th level skill, and Ni Li has long been pestering him to come over. However, Ni Chen has always emphasized that this skill is too strong, and it can kill people if you are not careful. It can be said that the strength of the 7th level skill is the ceiling. He was afraid that Ni Li would cause trouble, so he never gave it. Seeing this skill book, Ni Li suddenly sat up straight, his gaze became enthusiastic again. Grandpa, do you really want to give it to me? He asked excitedly, a little in disbelief. Ni Chen smiled, patting his grandson's head lovingly. Of course, the matter has come to this point, and there is no better way. Tomorrow's Nether Tower assessment, you only need to reach the 100th floor, and the 100th floor boss is a very powerful dark creature. However, its biggest weakness is its extremely poor immune control ability. This soul-suppressing fist has strong control and high damage. It will definitely help you kill the boss as quickly as possible. Listening to his grandfather's words, Ni Li seemed to be resurgent, full of fighting spirit, and he grabbed the skill book, showing excitement. That's great, Grandpa. If you had given it to me earlier, I would definitely have defeated Chu Han. After finishing speaking, he suddenly remembered Chu Han's feat of 1 to 143, and his momentum withered instantly. Even if I can't win, at least for a few more seconds. Seeing his grandson regain his fighting spirit, Ni Chen also instructed with a smile. Even if you have this skill, don't be careless. The 100-layer boss, the Dark Soul Devourer, is definitely not that easy to deal with. Back when my grandfather had just turned 7, he challenged the Nether Tower and was defeated by it. If he hadn't escaped quickly, he would have lost his life inside. Even if it is the elder Shen Xingquan, who is a genius in the sky, it is the first time to fight against it, and it is difficult to win. Hearing his grandfather talking about the past, Ni Li was also quite yearning. Grandpa, how old were you when you reached rank 7? Ni Chen closed his eyes and recalled for a moment, then shook his head. I can't remember, I should be a few years older than you. Huh? Ni Li was slightly surprised. A few years older than myself, that is, in my 20s. But now, Ni Chen is over 70 years old, and he is only rank 8, level 517. It took him 50 years to complete a job change? Seeing his grandson's doubts, Ni Chen smiled. There are many talented young people in this world, and they can reach rank 7 in a very short time. But after turning 7, you can see who is the real genius. Although Grandpa has good talent, he is only good compared with those real geniuses. He is far behind. Hearing these words, Ni Li was slightly moved. Is it difficult to improve after the 7th rank? That's right. Ni Chen continued. After the 7th rank, it becomes extremely difficult to level up. You should be able to feel this now. Let's say 8 turns and 9 turns. Every level is difficult. Grandpa tried his best to reach level 517. So you have to reach rank 8 as soon as possible. I don't know how many so-called genius youths have fallen at this stage, staying at rank 7 for the rest of their lives. The life of a professional is like this. The road to growth is long and difficult. After finishing speaking, he withdrew his gaze, looked at his grandson whose expression was gradually dimming, and grinned. Why are you scared?
No way. Ni Li cheered up quickly, and said firmly, I am not afraid, I will not slack off, and I will definitely become stronger. Also, I will do my best in tomorrow's assessment to win you glory.
Yes, this is my good grandson. Ni Chen nodded appreciatively, then got up and left the room. It's getting late, go to bed early. Watching his grandfather leave, Ni Li still stayed on the sofa, holding the skill book in his arms. He looked at the full moon floating outside the window. His eyes were fiery. Chu Han, I will definitely win against you tomorrow. Must. Chapter 98 The 100th Floor Boss of Nether Tower, Dark Soul Eater.
Early the next morning, someone came to pick up Chu Han and took him outside the Netherworld Tower. At the entrance, there is a small house, and a luminous stone slab stands next to the house, which records the clearance records of the Netherworld Tower. Chu Han stopped and looked carefully. 100th floor customs clearance record. First place, Shen Xingchen, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Second place, Ni Chen, 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Third place, Yang Xiaoqiu, 7 minutes and 42 seconds. The top 3 holders are all elders, and Shen Xingchen is more than a minute faster than the second place. The difference in strength is evident. Okay, old Shen, it's not bad. Chu Han continued to look with a smile on his lips. There are 500 floors in the Netherworld Tower, and a record is created every 100 floors. Among the 5 record holders, Shen Xingchen ranks first. After reading it, Chu Han opened the door and walked into the hut. At this time, there were already 2 people sitting there in the room. One of them was Ni Li, and the other was the third seed Jun Song. Juniper is as tall as a man and a horse, with tendons holding up his clothes. His exposed skin is a dark yellow bronze color, full of strength and beauty. He is a level 356 7th level Shira Kuangzan. Like Ni Li, he is a power professional. When Chu Han walked in, Dusong smiled and said hello. Ni Li looked over with a complicated expression, but didn't say anything. The 3 of them are the geniuses carefully selected by the Presbyterian Church from among the younger generation of the guild.
If they can pass today's Netherworld Tower trial, they will represent the Sholing Church to participate in the true martial arts ceremony in a few days. This can be said to be the highest honor. The 3 of them sat quietly for a while, then the door of the hut was opened again, and Yao Shengyu's figure appeared. How's it going? Are you ready? Seeing the president's arrival in person, Junsong stood up in a hurry, his face flushed with excitement. He is a very straightforward person, with almost all his emotions written on his face without hiding it at all. Get ready, President, I won't let you down. Well, not bad. Yao Shengyu nodded with satisfaction, patted his shoulder, and then looked at Ni Li. Ni Li's eyes were firm and his expression was enthusiastic. He knew that the president's grandfather had unlimited expectations for him, and he was ready to fight. Yao Shengyu quickly looked away, not daring to provoke him anymore. In the past 2 days, he had given Ni Li too much chicken blood. If he continued to beat him, he would probably explode. Finally, Yao Shengyu locked his eyes on Chu Han and said, "Come with me." He walked aside and waited for Chu Han to approach, then whispered, "Have you learned the Gravity Black Hole skill book?"
After saying this, he looked around. He couldn't let others hear his words. After all, this was cheating. Hearing this, Chu Han was slightly startled and opened his mouth. I learned that skill, but I didn't learn it either. He did learn the Gravity Black Hole, but he doesn't have the Gravity Black Hole skill now. Can you speak human language? Yao Shengyu frowned. Let me tell you, this assessment is no child's play. If you fail, you don't want to go to the Zhengwu Grand Ceremony. Chu Han chuckled. Don't worry, Master, you let me go through the back door, I won't let you be discouraged.
Also, I won't tell anyone about the skill book you secretly stuffed into me. Yao Shengyu's face darkened. Thief son, you want to use this to blackmail your master, right? There's nothing. Chu Han gave him a gentle pat on the back with a free smile. After hammering for a while, Yao Shengyu felt comfortable all over, waved his hand and walked out. Before leaving, he turned around and said, Chu Han, when you enter the Netherworld Tower later, you must go all out and pass the level as quickly as possible. Anyway, there is no live broadcast, and you don't have to hide your strength. No one will see the real situation in the tower. All we can see is the number of levels and the time it took to clear the level. Oh, hearing this, Chu Han's eyes lit up. Just now, he was still struggling with how to control the power of his skills so that he could clear the level quickly while also trying to be as reasonable as possible. Although he had already exposed part of his strength when he faced 1 against 100. But at the very least, he still doesn't want people to see that he is covered in forbidden curses. Now, since no one outside can see it, he can unleash his skills with all his strength without worrying about anything else. Okay, Master, let's take a look at your concubine, Chu Han responded readily. Yeah. Yao Shengyu smiled slightly and walked away. Coming out of the hut, he went straight to the meeting hall. All the cadres and members of the Shuling Church were waiting here. Seeing the president's arrival, they hurriedly stood up to greet him. Yao Shengyu walked slowly to his seat and pointed at the electronic screen on the wall. Bring up the live footage of Netherworld Tower. Yes, someone responded, and then after a while of operations on the console, the big screen lit up. What is displayed on the screen at this time is the situation on the first floor of the Netherworld Tower. The tower is extremely dark, and it can be seen that the carved beams and walls are mainly dark red, making it look depressing and violent. About 2 minutes later, a figure appeared. It's Juniper. As the third seed, he was the first to conduct the assessment.
Squeak. Hiss. It can be seen in the picture that as soon as Du Songfu stepped into the Netherworld Tower, a group of bloody bats rushed out of the corner. This is the first level monster, the level 310 feet septic blood demon bat. In the Nether Tower, every time you pass a level, the monster level will increase by 1 level. And every time 100 levels are cleared, a boss will appear. Facing the attacking monster, Juniper roared, and a black battle axe appeared in his hand. He swung the weapon around, without even using any skills. He just slashed flatly, and several monsters bore the brunt of the attack and were immediately cut into 2 pieces. Puff, puff. The giant axe tore apart countless bats, and corpses fell one after another. The blood spilled down and merged with the scarlet building, making the luster on it even more eerie.
In less than half a minute, a group of level 310 septic blood monster bats were all chopped down. A burst of admiration erupted in the meeting hall. Jinjun has mastered his professional characteristics and exerted his power to the extreme. It's a pity that it's still a bit bulky. If you encounter professionals with high flexibility, you will eventually suffer.
I don't think so. As the saying goes, one force can defeat 10 societies. His fighting method is simple and crude, which is very consistent with the truth of, the great truth leads to simplicity.
A group of cadres spoke and discussed one after another. Some people praised Junsong's performance, while others were disdainful. They all had their own opinions. But this does not prevent Juniper from overcoming obstacles along the way. In 15 minutes, he finally reached the 100th floor. After killing the last mob, something strange happened in the Netherworld Tower. The dark aura condensed, and a fierce demonic wind surged, as if a peerless demon king was coming from the Netherworld. Juniper stood solemnly, holding a giant axe in his hand. In front of him, a towering black mist appeared, and a giant claw stretched out to grab him. Juniper let out a long roar and struck with the giant axe. Boom! A sound like a metal collision came, and Juniper retreated backwards with the help of the concussive rebounding force. At this time, the black mist dissipated, and the owner of the giant claw appeared.
Dark Soul Devourer. Endless coercion came from all directions, and Junsong felt that his soul was being hit hard, and he couldn't help but tremble. He clenched his teeth, and veins popped out in his hands that were holding weapons tightly. At the same time, a drop of cold sweat slipped from the corner of his forehead. Chapter 99 Control First, Soul Suppressing Fist. Name: Dark Soul Devouring Beast Extreme Boss. Attribute: Monster. Open black lens bracket level. LV.410 close black lens bracket. Health volume: 100 million, 100 million. Open black lens bracket physique: 36,114 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket power: 39,142 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket wisdom: 29,536 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket agility: 31,448 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket spirit: 28,116 close black lens bracket. Combat power value: 291,734. Skills: Soul Shock, Dark Flame Demon Front, Void Wave, Ghost Summoning. The Netherworld Tower is a man-made mystery inside the spiritual church, and the built-in monsters are all fixed. Therefore, even if the difference between Juniper and the Dark Soul Devourer is more than 50 levels, you can still see its information. But, for Juniper, it might as well not be seen. Because after reading it, his pressure was even greater. Before coming here, he only heard from the seniors in the guild that the boss on the 100th floor was so strong that it was abnormal, but he never expected that it would be so abnormal. Nearly 300,000 combat power. Juniper's throat moved slightly, and he swallowed with difficulty. Before entering the secret realm, he was full of confidence that he could achieve a good result, but now facing the boss, his confidence was completely blown away. Should he bite the bullet, or quit now? He couldn't help but feel difficult. It took me 15 minutes to finish the 100th floor. This score is quite satisfactory, and it is considered qualified. However, if you withdraw early, it is likely to cause dissatisfaction from the elders, and you will lose your qualification to compete in the Junwu Grand Ceremony.
He didn't want to take the risk. Hiss, gaw.
The Dark Soul Devouring Beast didn't give him much time to think. It grinned with 4 outflamed fangs, and charged forward with a roar. Hearing the creepy sound from the boss's throat, Juniper's scalp was numb and his blood was surging. FK it. Even if you lose, you must not be ashamed. He clenched his teeth and swung the giant black axe in his hand. This time, he activated his skills.
Deadly slash. Swish. The battle axe slashed across a curved arc of the full moon, shaking the space in front of him, showing quite impressive power. The next moment, the extremely sharp axe blade slashed directly at the boss, splitting him in half instantly.
It's done. Juniper was very pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that the Dark Soul Devouring Beast looked like an agile monster, but it didn't dodge his own attack. I'm so strong. No. Just as he was about to celebrate, Juniper found that the situation seemed different from what he had imagined. In front of him, a faint mist rose from the surface of the boss's body, and then spread rapidly.
In the end, its entire body turned into mist like gas. It turned out that it was not split by itself, but atomized. The blow just now did not cause any damage to it at all. Seeing this scene clearly, Juniper panicked and backed away.
At this time, the boss that turned into a mist came oppressively, and then, a long spiral thorn protruded from the thick fog, shining with a ghostly light, and stabbed fiercely. Alas, Juniper lost. No way, as long as you are fogged by the boss, it will be very difficult to win.
Asura has both offensive and defensive capabilities, but unfortunately he doesn't have any control skills. In addition, Juniper has no experience in fighting against the dark soul devouring beast. It's not wrong to lose. I think his performance in the first 100 floors is not bad, and he can retain his qualifications. What do you think? In the meeting hall, the elders are discussing with each other. Ni Chen accompanied Yao Shengyu, and the two sat in the front row. He glanced sideways at the president, and found that the other party's expression was indifferent, and he didn't show any emotion. So, he turned his head and said to the people behind, "Elders, please combine the opinions of the middle-level cadres in charge to give Juniper a final evaluation, and then vote to decide whether to retain the qualification." As soon as the words fell, Juniper on the big screen resisted a few skills in embarrassment, and then exited the secret realm in despair. Several elders whispered and discussed a few words, and their voices gradually became quieter. Lu Hongwei looked around and spoke first. "I think Juniper's performance shows that he has good potential and has an accurate grasp of his professional characteristics. Although he was defeated by the dark soul devouring beast, it is understandable. After all, he has no experience and doesn't know how to use control skills to prevent the boss from atomizing. Of course, it may be that he does not have control skills. In general, his performance is still qualified, and I think he can retain his qualifications for the Zhenwu Grand Ceremony." Ni Chen gave an and turned to look at the others. There were 11 second-generation and third-generation elders present. They expressed their opinions one after another. 7 of them agreed to retain their qualifications, and 4 of them opposed it. Ni Chen nodded, and whispered a few words in Yao Shengyu's ear for questioning. Yao Shengyu waved his hand lightly and said, "Just follow the elders' voting results." After all, Juniper doesn't have a strong background in the spiritual practice church, so no one will favor him. The strength of the dark soul devouring beast is here, and it is normal to fail the challenge. What's more, Juniper is only the 3rd seed, and the requirements for his strength will not be as strict as those of the latter two. After announcing the results, Ni Chen notified the 2nd seed to start the assessment. Afterwards, the figure of his grandson Ni Li appeared on the big screen. He glanced at the crowd behind him calmly, with a smug smile on his lips.
Compared with Juniper, Ni Li is more talented and trains harder on weekdays. Also, being a warrior class, Ni Li's connection and use of his skills is more reasonable and smooth. In 8 minutes and 1 second, he cleared the 100th floor and was ready to challenge the Dark Soul Devourer. Hey, this young man should not be underestimated. It's true that the waves behind the Yangtze River push forward the waves ahead. According to Ni Li's growth rate, in 2 years, he might be able to reach the top 3 in the 100-story record. Congratulations, Elder Ni, for raising such a good grandson. Not bad, there are young people like this, there are successors in our spiritual practice church, haha. Hearing the flattery from the people behind him, Ni Chen felt elated, but he didn't dare to show it easily as the president was beside him. He just nodded lightly as a signal.
Yao Shengyu's expression was indifferent, and there was no wave in his deep eyes. Ni Chen glanced at it hastily, and then quickly turned his gaze back to the screen. At this time, Ni Li couldn't help but feel nervous when facing the new boss, the Dark Soul Devourer, on his immature face. His previous performance was perfect. As long as he follows the strategy given by his grandfather and kills the boss as quickly as possible, then he will definitely be able to overwhelm Chu Han. At that time, relying on Grandpa's influence in the guild, then the status of the #1 seed can definitely be regained.
With such thoughts in his heart, Ni Li held his breath and concentrated. When the dark soul devouring beast crawled out of the void, Ni Li rushed forward without any delay. Before it atomized, he activated his powerful control skills. Soul suppressing killing fist. Chapter 101 second is the limit of the system, not Chu Han's limit. Boom. Endless murderous intent surged out of Ni Li's body, and the shock wave spread around like an entity. The dark soul-eating beast let out a painful cry, and the beast's body that was about to become atomized became distorted, and then it returned to its true form. It was just halfway atomized when it was interrupted by the control skill. It's now. Seeing that the blow was successful, Ni Li continued to move forward without hesitation. Overlord splitting air fist. His right fist was wrapped in silver mysterious energy, and with a roar like a dragon's roar, it suddenly hit the boss's head. Boom. -17,658,527. Shocking red damage values wafted up, and the BOSS was directly cut off nearly 1/5 of its health. Wow. In the meeting hall, a burst of exclamation suddenly erupted. Everyone was shocked by Ni Li's performance. Although for these elders and senior cadres, killing the dark soul-eating beast is as easy as crushing an ant. However, they also understand that the person in the secret realm now is just a 19-year-old boy. He has just changed jobs for more than a year, and he already has such strength, it is really terrifying. If he is given enough time to grow, he will definitely become a well-known figure on Blue Star in the future. Elder Ni, congratulations. It is really enviable to have such a good grandson. A third-generation elder named Lu Yuncheng wasted no time in flattering him and did not miss this good opportunity to flatter him. Yes, Ni Li's performance is much better than that of us old guys back then. I was originally impressed by this child's previous performance, but I didn't expect that he would give me a new surprise now. Well, it's not an exaggeration to say that this boy is a genius. I think Ni Li should be the #1 seed in our guild. With his strength, he can definitely stand out. Hearing the praise from these people, Ni Chen was very pleased. Especially when someone proposed that Ni Li be the #1 seed, the look of pride in his eyes became even stronger. After quietly taking a look at Yao Shengyu, he turned around and pressed down with his hands. Please don't jump to conclusions prematurely. After all, Chu Han hasn't conducted the assessment yet. As for who will be the #1 seed, let's wait until he finishes beating the Netherworld Tower. After all, you all know that every time you enter the next level of the Netherworld Tower, the skill CD will be refreshed. This is very beneficial to the mage profession. Maybe Chu Han can also perform well. Also, Chu Han won a great victory when he defeated 1 against 100 in the battle room. His strength must be good, so everyone can look forward to it. Ni Chen's speech can be described as very scheming. He neither agreed to reselecting the #1 seed, nor did he object. At the same time, it also slightly improved Ni Li's opponents, so that when Chu Han's final results were not as good as Ni Li's, there would be a certain gap and make people feel disappointed. At that time, he can naturally re-elect the #1 seed. Presumably by then, even the president would be speechless.
After listening to Ni Chen's words, an elder smiled and said, "Hey, actually, none of us were present that time. Everything was described by the children in the guild. It's not certain what the real situation was like." "It makes sense." Lu Yuncheng sneered and took over the words. "I also asked a guild member who was in the ring at that time. He said that when facing Chu Han, he suddenly felt as if his mind was being controlled, and an inexplicable feeling arose in his heart. With the intention of surrender, I knelt down to Chu Han.
I thought about it over and over again. This kind of large-scale mind control skills must be at the level of forbidden spells, but Chu Han has just turned 5, and no matter how talented he is, it is impossible to learn forbidden spells. Let's not talk about him. Even our elder Shen may not be able to touch the skills of the forbidden curse level, so I conclude that Chu Han should have used some high-level props to create the illusion of 1 against 100. After this analysis was finished, it immediately aroused the approval of many people. If this is the case, Chu Han really cannot be the #1 seed. After all, the use of props is prohibited in the Junwu Grand Ceremony. If you want to win, you can only rely on your own strength, and you can't speculate. It seems that the #1 seed candidate really needs to be carefully considered. From what I've seen, it's none other than Ni Li. Listening to these words, Yao Shengyu's expression was flat, as immobile as a mountain. Headed by Lu Yuncheng, the group of people who spoke out to support Ni Li are all cadres of Ni Chen's faction. They will naturally try their best to suppress Chu Han and take away the title of #1 seed. It's just that because Chu Han belonged to Shen Xingchen, they were restrained before and didn't dare to go too far. Now it's the last moment. Shen Xingchen is not here, and Ni Li's performance is really impressive. They are bound to win the #1 seed. However, the scene of opening champagne at halftime made Yao Shengyu want to laugh. On the big screen, Ni Li's battle is coming to an end. The skill, Void Wave, of the Dark Soul Devouring Beast has a very long cooling time, and when it is interrupted, it loses an important means of combat. Ni Li, as a rank 7 blood fighter, fought close to the boss, completely crushing him.
In the end, he cleared the 100th floor of the Nether Tower with an impressive score of 9 minutes and 17 seconds, completing the assessment. Ni Chen finished reading the results proudly, and then announced that the #1 seed player would start the assessment. Soon, Chu Han entered the arena. On the big screen, a tall and straight young man, wearing a black suit, stood in the center of the first floor of the Nether Tower. Everyone enjoy it and see what kind of surprise the #1 seed will bring us. Ni Chen spoke. What he meant was to let the people behind him keep their eyes open and not let go of every mistake Chu Han made. As soon as the words fell, Chu Han in the picture had already made a move. The ferocious fire element erupted from the whole body, swallowing all the monsters in an instant, killing them instantly. In the real-time information in the upper right corner, there is a line of small blue words. Chu Han, the time taken to clear the first floor, 00 minutes and 01 seconds. Everyone in the meeting hall was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. This shit cleared the level in a second. It only took a second for the monsters on the first floor to be destroyed from birth. What's the situation? Looking at the suddenly silent crowd, Yao Shengyu's eyes lit up, and the corners of his mouth curled up. This is the first time since he sat here today, his mood and expression have changed. Ni Chen next to him had dilated pupils and his whole body was extremely stiff, as if he had seen something extremely terrifying.
On the big screen, after Chu Han came to the second floor, he still used the fire skill just now to kill the monster again. The time is still 1 second. He didn't even blink an eye, looking so relaxed. The corner of Ni Chen's mouth twitched, and he could see clearly that if the system's timing could be more accurate, Chu Han wouldn't even take so long. 1 second is the limit of the system, not Chu Han's limit.